If you've ever watched the Big Dumper win the Home Run Derby, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. It was actually a pretty cool Home Run Derby. Let me know who's going to win the All-Star game tonight, the NL or the AL. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today, the Tuesday, July 15th edition, and this is going to be a big one. We've got a lot of news to cover here on some stocks that we follow all the time, but of course, the big news here is going to be the CPI and some of those bank earnings. So I'm sure we'll check in on all of that here today, but we should have a pretty busy day. It's a T3 Tuesday. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Tuesday, July 15th starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday day and then Monday evening. For those of you that are baseball fans, gotta say the Home Run Derby was pretty sweet last night. It was actually a pretty decent watch. We'll see how the All-Star game is tonight. But we've got a big day ahead of us before we start doing any of that fun stuff. We're going to go ahead and break it down like a fraction here for you. Glass half full? Indeed. My glass is half full every day I wake up, and I will not let people drain it past the halfway mark. Positivity always wins. Good morning, my man. How about NVIDIA? Meta today, anyone? NVIDIA, big news there. They're selling the chips. NVIDIA's gapping up, taking tech with it. We're actually set to open up here at a new all-time high if it holds. A lot of good stuff in the horizon, glass half full, so I'm sure we'll be checking that out as well. Don't forget, we're going to have Anne-Marie today, so maybe now, post this news, we want to set up some multi-leg option trades. Think about that, and we'll suggest some tickers to her. Good morning. Sun-Kissed Yogi, welcome back. Good morning. How are things in your corner of the world? I believe you're on the East Coast, right? What's the weather like out there? Paul, good morning. Futures bumping last night. Yeah, I would imagine that NVIDIA news really sent it, pulled back, then it went to more highs and it held it today. Oh, you must have been busy last night. Pestelman, good morning. Great to see you again. Glass half full is asking, are we bullish or bearish today? Until really the CPI, I think, is going to determine how the rest of the day is going to trade. From where we sit right now, hard to not be bullish given everything that's been going on the past couple of days and what the futures are doing and some of the news here today. But I think all of that is going to depend on the CPI, and we get that here in 28 minutes. We're going to bring that here for you live. I'm leaning bullish, but maybe a dip first. You know, the dip part of that will be interesting. If the CPI sends the market down, do we get dip buyers? That's going to just kind of be a general question that I want to poke through here today. But we'll see. Shanlu Trading, good morning. It's good to see you again. Kerching, welcome back. Good morning. C-Dub, good morning. Pete, good morning. Paulo, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Chuck and Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Yassine, Bernhard, and Durkis, good morning. Empyrean, Big Bees, and Big Bear Hug, good morning. Producers locked in as always. Day Trader, good morning. Day Trader, I have an old man shakes fist at the cloud story just for you here today. It's actually not just for you, but you might enjoy it. I enjoyed it when I saw it, so we'll go ahead and take a look through that. Charles, good morning. Looks like my biggest trade day ever is coming. I have a ton of NVDL, AMD, and MP starting the day. Charles, let's go. That is exactly what I want to hear. You guys were just asking if we're going to be bullish. I am bullish on our group here today. It seems like all of you are ready to rip here today, and it makes me happy. EKS, good morning. MP Materials surges 10%. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and add MP to this. I think Meta was one of those. We'll almost certainly look at NVIDIA. Probably JP Morgan, I'm guessing someone's going to want to take a look at. So yeah, all of that. We'll take a look at all of them. Brandy, it's good to see you again. Good morning. White Chocolate Mocha, good morning. Boogie, good morning. We have to talk about the trade desk. Yes, we do, because there is a lesson in there that I am going to share with you here today. I've already got that story lined up, C-Dub. The early birds get the worm, and you are here for it. Elmos, good morning. Austin, good morning. It's good to see you, Austin. Pestelman, I already said good morning, but good morning again. Jim, good morning. Zach McCracken, good morning. Jonathan and Cam, good morning. Nathan, good morning. Some Kistiotti said it's humid. Yeah, it's humid here in Chicago, too. It's actually like only 74 degrees, and it's hot because it's so humid. I actually have my AC going already. I was able to get by yesterday morning without it. Not today. Golger, good morning. Pereves, good morning. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of your names. On the Rail TV, good morning. Is Lulu a good entry? There we go. Lulu is a popular stock. Let's take a look at Lulu. It's been selling off. We'll see. Salty Trader, good morning. Graph, good morning. Rooster, good morning. It's good to see you, Rooster. Seabass, good morning. Sassy Butterfly Chick, good morning. SJ, good morning. James, it's great to see you again. I can't read this person's name from Twitter because of all of the script. Yeah, sorry. Whatever your name is, welcome. I can't read it. My apologies. Ryan, good morning. Nathan, good morning. Trade All Day, good morning. A1, good morning. Facile, hey, I'm here. You're in the right spot then. Good morning. Welcome back. Maverick, good morning. And Seth, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. We're going to start here with SPY. Then we're going to go through some of the news as we await CPI and Adam Mesh from T3. Super excited about that. Here's a look at your SPY chart. We, as mentioned here, we were set to open at all-time highs here. If you recall, the all-time high was set here on Thursday, July 10th. It was 626.87. We are currently at 626.82. We had a high this morning of 627.90. So we did set a new all-time high here in the pre-market, but really we need that to print here in the regular session for us to say that this is a new all-time high officially. And it looks like we're getting a little bit weak going into the CPI print. I would imagine that's just jitters before we actually get it. The print itself will determine what direction we go here next. As far as levels, really, I'm looking at that new all-time high level. I suspect if we break out, we may trade into a 630 handle. I doubt highly that we're going to be able to touch this trend line from the downside here. That would take an extreme move, and to be quite honest with you, it would feel like kind of a massive blow off top. So I'm not sure that we get that. I think it's a little bit more likely that we get a CPI print that is, I think, what's the estimate? 2.7. We'll have to look at that here when we go to the morning report. But I would imagine that the market move that we might see here is a move down. Really, what I wouldn't want to lose is going to be this low here. Let's call it 618. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think that's going to happen, but let's wait for the data and react to it accordingly. We do have that 20-day moving average pushing up slowly here. It's at about 614. Unsure that's going to come into play today, but like I said, we've seen a lot of strange things before. So really want to see what happens with the CPI. Once we get that out of the way, maybe we can make preparations for the PPI and come up with some new levels. But there's plenty of individual names to trade. Now, let's take a quick look here at the morning update before we get into some of those stories. As mentioned, CPI is what we're waiting for. Market green ahead of it. We'll see if it can hold it through the CPI. Bitcoin did pull back here. My thought on the Bitcoin pullback, absolutely nothing to worry about. Had a huge weekend here. A little bit of a regressive move is nothing but healthy, frankly. So I don't really think that there's anything negative to construe there. I know sometimes we talk about this being the risk on, risk off flag here. We'll see if that pans out here today, but a little bit of a pullback after a really nice move. NBD. In my opinion. Upcoming IPO here today, SPEG. This is Silver Pegasus Acquisition Corp. This is not one that I have a line on, but it is going to IPO here today, priced at 10 yesterday. And we have the annual meeting of stockholders for ticker IKNA, a micro cap oncology stock. And we still have the Wainwright Powering the Future Advanced Innovation Through Nuclear Virtual Conference. LEU is on there. NNE is on there. Lightbridge is on there. Those are three stocks that we've traded here before. GSRT is also on there. That one is not as tradable as us. Or excuse me, that one's not as popular of a trader for our group. I beg your pardon. Looking at some of the initiations here, Meta caught a buy rating here from Bank of America, price target of 775. Meta's at 724 here this morning, up just about 0.5%. Fastenal, after it had its earnings yesterday and traded higher, got two upgrades here today. Cal-Maine Foods got an equal weight from Stevenson Company as well. As far as downgrades here, more solar carnage. Solar Edge, SEDG, and ENPH getting hit here. DoorDash also getting a hold from Jefferies. That's down just about 1% here in the pre-market. Realty income, this also got a peer perform. That's down just about 1% here today as well. All right, and that does it for, also top earnings here for the day. We did have Wells Fargo. This is down by 2.5%. Someone here is asking, what do you think of Wells Fargo compared to the other bank stocks? I don't like Wells Fargo. I do have a loan account with them that's paying for a furnace that I replaced a year ago, giving me 0% interest. It's actually a pretty good program. But as far as the accounts, I really don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm still jaded from the old CEO saying that we need to cross-sell even old ladies because 8 rhymes with great. That was literally what he said. And that gave me a kind of a nasty taste in my mouth a long time ago. I've never really used their products. Now, the stock has done pretty well. So I don't know, someone else that's a bigger bank trader or follows the banks a little bit more, they might be able to give you a little bit better insight on that. Nice performing stock. Don't have a position on it. JP Morgan also reporting here this morning. They're down about 0.5%, really NBD there as well. Okay, let's dive into some of the news here real quick. Let me actually go back to the chart tool so we can observe some of these charts as needed. But let's start here with a quick rundown on the news before that CPI drops. First one here, investors are bracing for the June release of the Consumer Price Index. Economists anticipate a headline inflation rate to climb from 2.4 to 2.7. I thought that estimate was 2.7. From 2.4 in May to 2.7 in June, the highest since January, and a pace of acceleration unseen since late 2023. Monthly, the CPI is expected to rise 0.3, up from the 0.1 in May, marking the fastest monthly increase of the year. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.42% to 2 years at 3.90. So we're still just kind of in normal range right there, not doing anything that we would really be against, if you will. Senior economist at Wisdom Tree, Jeremy Siegel, said that public firms in the U.S. were beginning to quantify potential damage from tariffs, though these estimates remain based on previously announced rates, not the most recent escalation threats. He highlighted that the official impact will start to show in the July data, but those numbers won't be released until August or even September. So interesting. We're already setting this up for kicking the can down the road if today's print doesn't draw the market in and all that. So found that a little bit interesting. Nonetheless, investors will have to watch high-frequency indicators like jobless claims and credit card spending in the meantime, which we always do here. Quote, the real risk is that rising tariffs will continue to sap purchasing power just as economic momentum is already slowing. While I don't see a recession looming, growth is undeniably weaker than what we saw through much of 2024. Meanwhile, analysts at BlackRock highlighted 2 ways to capture alpha and earn returns in the market in their latest commentary. Quote, U.S. tariffs could intensify an already elevated dispersion, making this a more rewarding environment for alpha. That was, again, from the note from BlackRock. One way to capture the alpha, reduce the potential drag from static factor exposures by deliberately managing macro risk. A very creative way to say, watch the macro news and act accordingly, in my opinion. Another approach to capturing alpha, avoid macro risk factor in favor of security-specific risk. This is exactly what our group has been doing here. We've been focusing on the moves that are hot every day and able to capture what we can from that. The note thus added, dynamically managing macro risk and taking security-specific risk can help capture alpha. We eye selective global opportunities. Well, hey, that's what we do. We eye selective opportunities here on this show as well. So thanks, BlackRock. Thanks for nothing, as they say. Okay, let's get to that NVIDIA story. NVIDIA popping here. Actually, you know what we can do? We can actually start with the chart if you want. Let's do that here. Let's bring up NVIDIA, share your chart. Here we go. NVIDIA gapping even higher, more new all-time highs. It is up 4.5% here in the pre-market. Current price 171.45. We'll see where we end up going here. This has made a really, really nice move since it busted that 150 spot, and we continue to press higher. The one thing that I'd be looking for you folks here, what's the next trade on NVIDIA? Are you looking for maybe a little bit more legs on this trade as we do have kind of a blue sky breakout here with some good news? Or do you think that maybe this is a sell the news? NVIDIA comes back in, maybe that 20-day up there. What do we have at that 155.5? Maybe it comes into the 20-day and holds there and gives us an opportunity to reload. Let me know, folks. How are you planning on trading NVIDIA, if at all? To me, it sure feels like chasing up here. But if you do this with controlled risk, maybe you can actually get that. Let me know what you're thinking here on NVIDIA. Let's go back to the actual story, give you some more information on what's going on here. According to Gene Munster, the managing partner of Deepwater Asset Management, the developments on the chip exports to China should add back about 10% to street estimates. So this piece of news here saying that this is definitely a humongous positive for NVIDIA. However, he believes that some analysts may already have factored in the return of the H20 chips before the company's announcement. Quote, that means street estimates should rise by about 10% on the news, end quote. Adding that either way you look at it, this is great news for NVIDIA. And several of you folks are already aware or already in this, but AMD also having some similar news here today. That stock's doing well also. This comes as the tech giant led by Jensen Huang took a hit after the first quarter after it faced an export ban on the H20 chips to China on April 9. The company said it incurred a $4.5 billion charge in the first quarter related to H20 excess inventory and purchase obligations. H20 products were H20 product sales were $4.6 billion for the first quarter before the new export licensing requirements. Meanwhile, the chipmaker also said that its second quarter revenue guidance of $45 billion plus or minus 2% included the loss of the $8 billion H20 revenue due to export controls. However, Munster added in a following ex post that the development of the U.S. lifting supply restrictions on China will also uplift the company's future earnings. He said the company's 2026 growth estimates could rise from the current 25% to 30 to 35%. If this is the case, if this is true, that's absolutely going to be a positive for NVIDIA, and there should be some more legs on this trade. According to a company statement, NVIDIA announced it will resume sales of its H20 GPU to China and unveiled a new RTX Pro graphics processor designed specifically for Chinese customers. This followed Huang's lobbying, including a meeting last week with President Trump, where Huang reiterated NVIDIA's commitment to America job creation and AI leadership. The new RTX Pro GPU was launched for sale in China to maintain market share while navigating heightened trade restrictions. However, the new development uplifts restrictions from the H20 chips as well, and the RTX Pro chip is, quote, ideal for digital twin AI smart factories and logistics, end quote. NVIDIA shares have been on a huge run recently. It's got a very high momentum and growth score from the Benzinga proprietary rankings. So again, let me know what you think here about NVIDIA. Let's see, what do we got here? Salty Trader says, sell the news on this one. Okay. The estimate was good. Yeah, already in NVIDIA. Got it yesterday with the news of Jensen Huang going to China and those incredible numbers from the last quarter. There you go, Big Bees. So you were the early bird on that one, and that is paying here. Okay. Seabass saying NVIDIA is running the table, so deal with this reality. Indeed, it absolutely appears to be the case here. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's go to this next one here. This is, again, about NVIDIA here. Jim Cramer says NVIDIA getting Trump's approval for the H20 sales to China is, quote, so huge it could turn the NASDAQ futures around. So really quickly, we had a little bit of a discussion, kind of broke off on a tangent yesterday about Cramer. And we were talking about some of his calls being wrong and the opposite happening. And I personally had cited his recent tweet about this being the next Black Monday, which was absurd. In any case, he made another call last night, and credit where credit is due, because he was absolutely right on this one. This NVIDIA news so huge could turn the NASDAQ futures around. Well, the NASDAQ futures popped and continued to move higher and are holding higher here today. So again, credit where credit is due. We made a couple of comments where he couldn't defend himself. So today, give him his flowers, because it looks like that call worked. In any case here, the development follows a period where U.S. export curbs initiated in April had effectively halted the H20 chip sales to Beijing, despite the chips being designed to bypass the earlier controls. Now, Cramer here, he was very enthusiastic. Cramer, host of CNBC's Mad Money, took to X and said, NVIDIA's news so huge Could turn the NASDAQ futures around. During the time of writing of this article, NVIDIA shares were up 4.28%. They are actually up a little bit more here today, but right in the same area there. Similar, Nigam Arora, hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, known for his market analysis, posted that, quote, more bullishness in stock futures on NVIDIA getting permission to sell the H20 chips to China for AI, and we're still seeing that here today. NVIDIA confirmed the breakthrough in a statement Tuesday, expressing hopes to start delivery soon. This turnaround comes after extensive lobbying from Jensen to Trump. We talked about that already. Ray Wang, director of the Fernam Group here, told CNBC, quote, the lifting of the H20 ban marks a significant and positive development for NVIDIA, which will enable the company to reinforce its leadership in China. He added that this, combined with the upcoming export control compliant RTX Pro AI chips, should act as a, quote, fresh growth catalyst. Meanwhile, NVIDIA stock ended the session 0.5% lower and turn that all around here today. So NVIDIA, that's going to be in focus here today. One of the other things that I want to see is some of the option activity today. I want to see if there's more closing trades, because I'm imagining that there were plenty of people that kind of got this news leaked and were positioning accordingly. I want to see what the new trades look like here today. Okay, now the next stock that we're going to talk about here, it's one that you folks already asked about, and it is the Trade Desk. And this comes complete with a lesson that I have learned a few times, and hopefully that is going to pay off here today. So here's the Trade Desk. You can see we are gapping up by 13.5% here. Pre-market price of $85.50. This is actually off the highs in the pre-market. I think this thing printed 87. That was in the after hours yesterday. I beg your pardon. Printed 87.5 yesterday. It's been leaking a little bit today, but still gapping up pretty good here. Now, what's the news, you ask? Well, I'm glad that you asked. The Trade Desk is trending on Tuesday following the announcement of its inclusion to the S&P 500 index. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to go with a very, very quick lesson here. And this doesn't work all of the time, but I really want you to think about this if you're trading options. The trade here was a while ago. If we go back to the chart, the trade here for me, was a while ago. And if we go back to the chart here, we can see that what we were waiting for with the Trade Desk was for it to confirm a bottom and then really start to move back in the up direction. What was so enticing about this is that we have a huge gap that starts right here at about 86, and this doesn't fill to about 118. So this gap in here, we talk to Mark Petrino about gaps all the time. This gap right here, really, really intriguing for a potential up move. We also, at the time, had some of these moving averages that acted as, let's call them mile markers for the trade, just to make sure we were on the right track. You could see the Trade Desk pushed up, kind of stopped, and then just kind of drifted lower. And with options that expire here in July, they expire this Friday, that trade was looking dead in the water. In fact, yesterday, the contracts that I'm in, the July 90 contracts, had 0 bid and a 2-cent ask, and they were not being traded. They looked dead in the water. The lesson here is, if you position yourself in an options trade with risk as your first parameter, it makes it a lot easier to hold some of these smaller option trades for the length of the trade. Now, generally speaking, with options, especially if your trade doesn't work, maybe you don't necessarily want to hold them. My cost basis on these contracts was like 95 cents, and I had a handful of them. So, okay, it wasn't a huge trade. It was under $1,000 in capital, and it was kind of a high-risk trade looking for the high reward that was on the other end of it. When the trade started to not work out, there was one day here, I think it was right in here, I think it was June 5th, where the stock really got pummeled. And the option contracts just moved really quickly. And yeah, there was definitely a time where I could have taken a loss and sold them for 50 or 60 cents and taken maybe a 40% haircut on the position. But it wasn't a huge position to begin with. I wanted to give it the entire time frame, so I just held on to them. I was not rewarded as the stock continued to get pounded and or trade sideways, and that position looked like it was going to expire worthless. And then we get the newsprint yesterday, and just like the Undertaker rising from his casket, we might be back. 3 days till expiry on these contracts. This is $85.50. The strike price is $90. These are definitely going to be more in play. Will I get all of my money back? Will I actually make money on it? I don't know yet, but these are back from the dead. And I think back to some of the days where I was looking at the position and I was lamenting that the trade didn't work. And I'm looking at the contracts and can I sell these handful of contracts for 25 cents? Yeah, I could, but let's see if something happens. Well, guess what? Something happened, and now we're back here. So the lesson here is if you're going to take a high-risk options trade, really seriously think about defining your risk ahead of the trade. If you normally buy $1,000 option positions and you buy a $400 option position, and it's like, I would normally stop out of my $1,000 option position if it moved down $400 and I would take that loss. Think about that, because if you position yourself and you have these things that don't work, it might not make sense to sell them at minus 80 or minus 90%. Instead, keep those in your portfolio and you might get lucky like I did here and bailed out with a piece of news. Now, we'll see how the trade desk trades here today and over the next several days, but a trade that I had already written off and waved bye-bye to that precious money, it doesn't want to leave, and it looks like it's coming back. So really excited to see how this trades here today. If you take a look at the chart, you can see that we're actually running up to the 500-day moving average. That value is 87.32. The high print from the extended session yesterday was like 87.60, so it's about 30 cents off that. And then above that, we have the 200-day here at 92.5. So these two levels absolutely mark key levels here if this stock continues to trade higher here today. Now, it might get sapped right out of the open here, right? This might get hit. It might trade down here a little bit. There are likely people that were short-term traders in this name, perhaps trying to catch a curl or trying to catch the bottom, that are going to ring that register here today. And that's fine. We'll see how this ends up trading here today. So Big Bear Hug saying roll them. And that's one of your other options here. Now that we actually get some of this premium back, sure, I could close the position, but we could also roll these into strikes that are further out or expiries that are further out. Give us some more time. And if we think that this news of being added to the S&P 500 is going to continue to cause trade desks to appreciate in price, we might be able to make some money back that way. So there are definitely some other things that you can do here with that. Now, let me get back to the story here. The trade desk stock price soared almost 15% to 86.50 in after-hours trading on Monday following the S&P 500 inclusion announcement. The development comes after the S&P Dow Jones indices revealed that the trade desk would replace ANSYS, ticker ANSS, in the S&P 500, effective from market open July 18th. Now, this one is interesting because if I recall, a lot of these are effective on Monday. This is going to be effective on Friday, right? The 18th is, in fact, Friday of this week. So we'll see if that even trades on expiry day for these contracts. This actually could be fun. We might even get some fireworks if we're lucky enough. The stock of the trade desk, a demand side platform that has been on a steady rise with a previous close of 75.38. Company shares have been trading between 75.30 and 77.77 with a market cap of $37 billion. The trade desk's inclusion in the S&P 500 index is a milestone for the company. This move is expected to attract more investors and increase the company's visibility in the market. Earlier this month, Citigroup maintained a buy rating on the trade desk and raised its price target to 90. Bang, there we go. This was followed by a bearish move by financial giants, as revealed by Benzinga's analyst of options history for the trade desk, which showed 44% of traders were bullish, while 48% showed bearish tendencies. Big time shout out to Lion Atlas, who has been pounding the table on the trade desk. He has much longer contracts than I took for this particular trade. His will certainly be working, but we might still get bailed out on ours. On the day of the S&P 500 inclusion announcement, the trade desk was among the top stocks that gained attention from retail investors. So let's see what we get here with the trade desk. Are any of you still in this one? Are any of you getting bailed out? Maybe like I am. You let me know. Richard Judge says, I sold my trade desk shares after hours. You know what that means, Judge? You're going to get a register ring. Bang. James said, I rolled them. Good morning, ATL Russ. Luke's asking, can you take a look at PROC? Yeah, we can take a look at PROC. I'm going to add that to the list. That's just kind of a mover, so we'll do that a little bit closer to the open, but I'll add that to the list here. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything else? I did the same thing with coin, sold the day before the S&P 500 announcement. Okay, amazing. We are about 1 minute here to the CPI. We'll see what happens here. Let's see. We don't have Adam yet, so we'll kind of wait that out here. I don't necessarily want to get into the next story here. Depending on time. Well, I'll just go ahead and start it here, I suppose. This one's going to be on Apple. Apple's AI strategy costs $630 billion in market cap, and investors want the company to look at acquisitions. We've talked about Perplexity being a possible one there. Apple has lost approximately $630 billion in market cap value in 2025, with investors increasingly frustrated over the company's perceived lag in AI innovation. Investors are now urging Apple to depart from its conservative M&A approach and consider substantial acquisitions in the AI space. Quote, historically, Apple does not do big mergers and acquisitions, said Atif Malik, an analyst at Citigroup, noting that Apple's last major deal was the $3 billion acquisition of Beats in 2014. However, he believes investor sentiment would improve if Apple were to buy or take a significant stake in a well-established AI company. And we actually already have evidence of that because it's popped on some of those rumors. Okay, it is 8:30. The producer is pumping out messages here, so that means we got our data. U.S. CPI year over year for June, 2.7 versus the 2.6 estimate. CPI month over month for June, in line, 0.3 versus the 0.3 estimate. Core CPI month over month for June, 0.2 versus the 0.3 estimate. And U.S. core CPI year over year for June, 2.9% versus the 3% estimate. So I gotta say, on the surface, that print is pretty good. S&P futures ticking up here, now up by 0.5%. After that, the Panicans are the worst hit by this news. We'll see how this ends up shaking out for the rest of the pre-market here. Again, market popping, and it's not limited to the S&P 500. NASDAQ, Dow, SPY futures, all at highs here. All at highs here post that print. So, I guess knee-jerk reaction here. Who thinks that this increases the chances of a rate cut? And for bonus points, can you tell me if you think that rate cut is coming in July or September? Y'all folks, let me know. We'll have plenty of time to shake that out here today. Okay, good stuff. So, Big Bear Hug saying no big reaction in the futures here. I would agree with that. I would say there's definitely a reaction, but it's not gigantic. And even on this pop here, we actually just popped to the high end of the range that the futures were at earlier here today. So no big breakdown, at least not yet. No huge run, at least not yet. Still holding higher here prior to that open. So, all right, that actually should mean that we would have a pretty decent day here, I would think. I would think that there's going to be people on both sides of this. All right, and give this a little bit to settle. Let me get back to that Apple story here real quick. We'll knock that out before we go to Adam Mesh whenever he's ready. Where did I leave off here? Okay. Apple shares have plummeted by 14.45% here this year, while its competitors such as Meta are thriving due to their substantial investments in AI. Shout out to 13, who's not here yet, because he's talked a lot about those glasses just being an absolute massive flop for Apple and actually being pretty good for Meta. They definitely seem to have won that battle. Real quick here, nothing getting out of the rocket. September, Angelica says September cut is what we're looking at. That makes sense to me. I'll be honest with you. I really don't think first of all, I don't think there's a reason to cut in July. I think if you want to keep a restrictive policy, there's really no rush to cut in July. So if we're going to stay with some of the rate cuts that we anticipated in the later part of the year, September makes sense for the first one. And I also don't see that necessarily being more than 25 bips. But again, we'll see how that shakes out as well. So, okay, cool. September rate cut, 1 vote here so far. In February of 2025, it was reported that Apple and Meta are in a race to develop AI-powered humanoid robots. Investor frustration deepened last month following the underwhelming Worldwide Developers Conference. Critics noted the absence of major AI updates, particularly a delayed Siri overhaul. By the way, someone here mentioned that had the beta. Pete, was that you? I can't remember. someone here said that they were on the new beta operating system. I've never done that with my Apple products. I've only used the ones that the official version that's available or whatever, but I'd be interested in that. I definitely want to try the new Mac OS X out. Let me know if that's if you can guide me through that. I've never done that here on Mac. Okay. This arguably one of my favorite times of the week. It is a T3 Tuesday, and also we're going to have Adam Mesh here today. Let's bring him on and see how he's doing. Adam, good morning, my man. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm really good. We just got news here that the CPI is not the end of the world. Inflation is not spiraling out of control. So we get to live. We get to keep living here. That's great news. We've also had some pretty amazing action in the market here, set to open at new all-time highs here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's the toughest kind of market to trade, the straight up slowly every day. So you kind of let your winners ride. Right? You don't go against it, but it also becomes very hard to lean in when every day you're just paying more. So it's like the equivalent of, let's say you were like house hunting, right? And you saw a house for $500,000 and you're like, it seems a little, let's wait. Next day it's 501, 502, 503, you know?
And that breeds the the propensity to maybe chase, and that's something that we definitely don't want to do. I agree with you. It's been very difficult to take new positions. The way I've been doing it, been looking at a really short-term time horizon, and I've been trying to start with the technicals, meaning the stock has to have some type of decent technical setup, and then I look at seasonality on top of that, and if I can get those to line up, that gives me a little bit more confidence to take a trade when we're up here at new all-time highs, or near new all-time highs.
Whenever you could add more variables, you're going to have a greater chance of success. You know, you go 1 to 2, but also keeping it simple, right?
Absolutely. Okay, folks, join Adam Mesh and Tom Sosnoff for an exclusive webinar event July 15th. That's today, 4:30 Eastern. QR code is in the top. Well, first of all, what can you expect from that exclusive webinar event? I don't want you to give away the secret sauce, but can you tease it?
Sure. Tom, for me, is the best options trader I've ever met or spoken to, and he's educated me. And what we do is kind of like here. We show up with no agenda. We just free flow for an hour, but talking specifically about options kind of trade strategies, what works, and then we let the audience kind of steer the ship with whatever questions they have. So it's just pure nonstop education and unfiltered.
Okay, that's awesome. I actually really like kind of doing a free flowing thing. I actually think you get some of the best interactions from your viewers and questions that way. So shout out to you. That's really awesome. Is there any stock that you want to trade or you want to start talking about here today? I got a list of stocks from the last time you and I were together, which was about a month ago. Wow. I kind of want to go over there, but
by the way, let's go through that list and see how I did.
Okay, let's do that. So the first one here, you knew, you had to have known this is where I was going first. First one here is going to be Coors. This is, at this point, we've really kind of associated this stock with you. You've done an amazing job with Coors, and you've been telling us about this for a while now. We had that huge news here that caused the stock to pop. It popped up, and then it dropped. So how did you take advantage of this? How did this finish up?
Well, what's the oldest expression in trading? Buy the rumor,
sell the news.
Sell the news. So this trade, unfortunately, is over. There's nothing left to do. There's a price in it. If you want to trade it, you could trade CoreWeave, or it's a cheaper way to trade CoreWeave now, with the risk that something happens to the deal and it doesn't go through. So for me, listen. I got into this trade. This is a great education for traders. This trade started for me with a friend who said, "Oh, my people love Core Z." Not like inside information or anything, like you should really check out Core Z. It's a great stock. And that's how a lot of people get stock ideas. Your friend, someone tells you to watch it. And I get a lot of that because this is what I've been doing my whole life. So every day people are telling me, "Oh, watch this, watch that." They are not responsible for that trade. I am. So I get involved, as I always do, small to try to get information. I got involved at 12, and the very first thing it did was it went down to 6. Again, like this is one of my closer friends, so I'm jabbing him a little bit, like, "Hey, thanks for that stock, buddy." Like, but I don't care. Like this is part of the game. He's like, he's in it too. We're both losing money.
Full disclosure, I do the same thing. I rib my buddies when they give me a bad tip too.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's. Oh my god, my intern told me that I should short not BTBT, but the other that Ethereum one that went
BMNR.
Yeah, he told me at 30 to get short, and it was 140. I'm like, you're lucky I don't pay you because you'd be fired.
You know, it's funny that you bring this up because I was actually going to ask you about this. I was going to ask you if there's any trades here.
Well, I'll go. So just to finish the Core Z, so it comes down to $6, and then I start, you know, looking into it, and now fundamentally, I hear that it's worth a minimum of 12, just based on their relationship with CoreWeave and the amount of business they do with them. And the only reason it was trading below it was when CoreWeave IPO'd and IPO'd below its price. CoreWeave was trading in the 30s when it IPO'd. It hit 35. So this stock was under par. So not like in good golf terms, but it was not. It was trading below its value. So now it's $6. Having watched it come down from 12 to 6, having a target in my head of this is worth at least 12, now I start to put on a position more aggressively. And if it's going to start to hold and allow me to stay in it, I'm going to build on that position, which I did. So I got up to a really big position in Core Z between $6, $7, and $8. Now, as it comes back around that 12, okay, I got to acknowledge this was my target for the short term. Now I'm selling 2/3 of my position, which might be too much, but that's the way I do it. So I'm left with 1/3 that I'm now playing around with, which looked amazing on the news that CoreWeave was buying them and it went to 20. I did sell some of my stock that I own in it. The only thing where I got caught was I had a 12 by 15 option spread on that I put on a while ago for December for 67 cents, thinking it's going to be above 15. I put it on when I was trading at like 9. It was a 67-cent trade, and it never got above $1.50. Like I couldn't sell that for $3, even though it was 12 by 15 trading at 20. The premium didn't let me out. That was annoying. But the reason I said bring it up, I'm proud of that trade. I've been talking about it since 6. It hit 20. It's over. It was a really good one. I think I also, that's why it was a good lead-in for what we talked about last time. I think also the last thing I said last time was to get involved with Bitto.
Yes, you did.
And that's been really good too, because Bitcoin's hit new highs. The dividend's really good. And, you know, that one felt good.
Absolutely. And this is the one that pays the dividend too, right?
Yeah.
So this pretty sweet. What do you think about that Bitcoin move up past 120?
Oh my God. Someone was just talking to me yesterday that like remember when Bitcoin was at like 12,000 and someone came on TV and said it will be over 100,000 one day. And we were like, do you think? And now what are they saying? 500,000, a million? Who knows? I don't know.
They keep rolling it up and out is what they keep doing, to borrow the options term.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you there. I've been told a number of times in my life that Bitcoin is a scam and it's a pyramid scheme and it's going to zero and I'm stupid for investing it. I've had a lot of laughs since then and some nice things that I've been able to acquire because I stuck with it. So, okay, good stuff there. I did want to talk about a couple of the other stocks here, just mainly to see if you're still interested in them. One of the other small guys that our group kind of likes here is MVST. This is Microvast Holdings that you talked about last time. I think it might be a little bit lower, but we're basically in the same area here. What's your thought here on MVST?
Well, in Mesh Prime, my service, it worked out for me because we owned it at 2 and we had sold calls at 3 and they got run over. So now we could roll them again. So the move down for us was a good thing because it allows us to stay in the trade rather than being taken out for a smaller profit. So that's one of the good times where the hedge paid off. And we're allowed to stay in it. I don't like that it failed a couple times at 4, and like it looks really good, and then it just kind of falls.
Yep.
So I'm going to stay in it small. I'm not giving it up on it, but I don't think it's a big position.
Okay, and I think actually one of the things I'd be looking at here if I was long MVST, full disclosure, I'm not, but if I was, I'd love to see a recapture of that 50-day, especially in pretty short order and a close above. That actually might set us up for testing that 4 level and then maybe that other high. What do we have up here? 4 and change, 460 something or other. Okay, another speculative play. I liked this one. You said this was a speculative play that you were looking for news on. This is going to be Triple D 3D Systems. This is
Yeah.
going to be one of those 3D printing stocks. Did you get your news? Doesn't look like it based on the price.
No, the news had been out. I was waiting for the idea of the news to take form. That's why I said it's a longer term play.
Gotcha,
So the news was
gotcha.
they got into recycling parts business, which is a really big business with a lot of potential, but they still have to develop it and everything. I think this was like $1.54 when we talked about it, so hasn't gone much. But
It's basically flat. It's
yeah,
basically flat.
that's like
So,
a longer term hold.
okay.
Looking back, I'm a little like it would be like if a girl told me I used like a bad pickup line. I'm like, I feel like not great that I brought that one up yet. I probably should have waited.
Yeah, it happens. Hey, some I've been very, very early. Actually, one of the big stocks that I was way early on was ONDS, and I started talking about that too early. Now it's starting to pan out, but a lot of crap has happened between now and then. So here we go. Here's your big winner. I think you'll have to tell me PCT. I believe that if I recall correctly, and I'm just going off some notes here, I believe that this was designed to be a very quick trade, and I think that you were trading the $8 calls. Did I get that right?
So we were in the $8 calls. We sold them for a 300% win.
Bang.
First for 200, then the rest for 300, and then we flipped it into puts underneath the $10 strike for over $1. We collected. We covered half for 50 cents, and the rest is on pace to go to zero, which means we will have full collection on the rest. But yeah, this I hope this doesn't do like I've had a bunch of stocks over the last couple of years get away from me. Where they start to go up and then you just can't get in. And Palantir is a great example where it started in the 20s. It was a vertical move through 100. And then Hood also, I was trading at 16. I looked at like a year ago and went to 20, 30. Now it's over 100. And now you know what other one's doing the same thing that looks like that feels like that? SoFi. SoFi looks like, here we go. I feel like I'm going to be looking at SoFi at $50 or $60 and be like, oh my God, I own that at 4, So I bought some long-term. I actually went out just because I got so sick of this happening to me. I think I own the 2027 calls in SoFi.
Okay, so you have some exposure. At least, what kind of strike do you have in there?
Like the 20. I'll look here. Because I was like, I'm not letting this one go. I own the January 16th. No, I own it's 185 days away. So I own the 2026 19 calls.
Okay, so those are in the money with plenty of time. At least you have some exposure to that. You're in good shape.
I just wanted to be able to make sure I stay in it. If I go far enough out, I don't look at it. And I was far enough out.
Okay. So let's see. The only other things that we had talked about before, we ride here. We had talked about this. This is I think we're basically flat on this. I don't really think this has made a move yet. This is on the whole self-driving thing. I
like that trade. It's keeping me in it. I own it.
Yep.
I own it. I think I own it at 10. So, but I've been selling calls against the position. And so whenever you get into that covered call strategy and the stock just stays where it is, that's good. So it's about like having the right trade on. Like the stock for me that will stay in a range could be some of the healthiest trading I do if I'm collecting premium. So I like to find those ones that like no movement. It makes it easier for me.
Okay. And then the last one here, and this is actually one that our group takes a look at quite often. I'm not sure how much they trade it, but they actually look at this quite a bit. This is APLD, Applied Digital. The reason that this is interesting, I know that this has come in a little bit since you and I talked about it last time, but it sure looks like this might be carving out a near-term bottom here. We're doing a really good job staying above the 50-day. So a new trade here, this is actually pretty easy for me on a risk to reward basis. I'm basically going to trade this against the 50-day. If it loses that, I'll look to reassess here. But are we expecting maybe a bounce here, maybe a recapture of that 20 and a launch back towards the teens?
Yeah, I actually think of everything I don't. It's not really a feeling, but I guess at the time it was. But this is probably my biggest position of all of them. But you're right. It hasn't looked as good as the other ones.
Mhm.
And so this is hedged a little bit right now. So now I don't want it to go up too fast. But I'm sticking with this because it had a big power move. It was down at $4. I think it went to 15. And so I'm just trying to see if it could hold like an ASTS. Stick around, and then explode.
Okay. Sean here says, I'm in on APLD. Looks like we're looking for a bounce here from this $9, $9.50 level right above the 50. Okay. Now, the new stock that I wanted to ask you about here today was BMNR. You kind of already touched on it. Do you have a trade plan for this? How are we've been trading this just because of the news, some of the moves that it's made. It's been absolutely crazy. So this day was bananas. July 3rd was absolutely bananas here, but it's actually given us multiple trades here. What do you think about this one? We've had some time for this to settle. It's kind of sitting here in a mid 40 handle. What do you think?
Oh, and again, good life lesson with this one. Yeah, someone told me to get short that, but it was a kid, so I'm not listening. And just remember that like you're your own boss, and like with those
Right.
stocks, you never short those stocks.
That's right.
Because you can't. There are no options, so you'd be shorting with stock, and there is an infinite risk. And this stock going from 4 to 150 is something that could wipe out an account. So we've seen this too many times to ever fall for it. You can't short these stocks, right? So if you were getting involved, just you wanted to be involved, I'm not, maybe buying a little bit and enjoying it. It's too hard to trade. It moves too fast. I'm actually trading BTBT, which is doing the same thing. And they said if this works, there should be a merger between them. That announced the secondary yesterday at $3. So the price should hold. It's trading at 325. It hit 450. Just an easier one for me to trade.
Okay. And then I guess on kind of a larger, just conceptual thing here, one of the things that we've seen is a lot of these movers that we identify every morning. A lot of these are some of these smaller companies that are now adding Bitcoin to the treasury. They're coming up either with a Bitcoin treasury strategy or an Ethereum treasury strategy or a Solana treasury strategy. What do you make of all this? Is this all just hype, or is there something here?
I'm reading the book When Genius Fails right now about the failure of long-term capital management, which was like all the smartest people created this perfect hedge that comes undone and wipes out the firm and almost Wall Street. And so, like MSTR as the leader in this idea and strategy, I'm not convinced that one day that won't fail. Just because whenever you have a weird hedge on, if things go wrong, I don't know if they have it perfectly measured. So I think I'm certainly not betting against it. I don't understand it completely. Like I understand it enough. For when you're trading the other ones, though, it's really about how long will it stay relevant. It's hot. Everyone's talking about it. Yep. How long will this be relevant? Because when they're not thinking about it, it's going to die and come back down and just be left alone. When the volume and the interest goes away, it's going to fall hard. So it's really just a public eye momentum story. It's not a fundamental play. There's no way that stock could be at that price fundamentally. So okay. Really, it's like if Adidas came out with a new sneaker, and you're buying Adidas stock because everyone likes this sneaker, you're betting on how long that sneaker is going to be popular. Because as soon as that sneaker is not popular, you got to watch out.
Your thesis is over. So I'm glad that you're saying all of that, because we look at these on a pretty regular basis. And my thought here is none of these are really buy and holds, right? If you want to trade some of the momentum, you want to trade some of what's going on, that's fine, but they're not buy and holds. And you're absolutely right. We've seen a number of these. They trade like less than 100,000 shares a day on average. And then one day they announce this treasury strategy. They trade several million. They suck everybody in. And if you overstay your welcome, now you're trapped in a ghost town where you have no chance of getting out. The stock's really retraced a whole bunch. So good to hear that from you. It looks like we're looking at the right things here.
And by the way, I see I've been checking out your chats because you're the best chatting people in the industry, and everyone's writing in a lot of SoFi was popular. And then Lindsay, I am in SoundHound also. We have that in my Mesh Prime service. It's been, it's interesting. They removed it from the one of the indexes. It was supposed to be one of the indexes. They removed it, which I thought was weird, but that wasn't a negative for the stock. It's staying around that $11 price. Looks strong. That one is keeping my interest because it's not going away. So
yeah. And then the other thing, so the index is one thing. The other thing is that the big move here happened because of an NVIDIA partnership that has been dissolved.
That's it, right? All the relationships were ending,
and the stock still holding.
Yes, that's what's weird. So let me tell you one more thing, though. Fundamentally, I think it's important to know. Do you guys know what SoundHound does?
They do like the AI at like the drive-throughs for fast food places?
No, maybe, but in general, they do the AI for customer support so that it sounds like, have you ever had it where you're speaking to someone in a different country and it's a little frustrating because you're not being taken care of? This is supposed to be customer support that sounds like you would want it to sound AI, and you can't tell even that it's AI. Like, it's supposed to be that next level customer support. So as someone who just got off the phone with United Airlines after an 1.5-hour phone call where I couldn't really understand who I was speaking to, I'm like, this technology is needed. We want it, and we want this one to work.
Please tell me that they found your bag.
No, this was my flights. They moved my flight 7 hours back, and then they changed their minds and moved it 3 hours early. We were in Aspen. My wife was on a mountain. I had to send a car for someone to go pick her up on the mountain because we were going to miss our flight. But anyway.
Okay. That's actually gives me anxiety just listening to that. SoundHound here. Groundbreaking AI-driven products like smart answering, smart ordering, dynamic drive-through, and Amelia AI agent. So, Sound basically sounds like a call center that utilizes or leverages AI, and they have several different applications for that.
By the way, Ryan,
yeah,
are you becoming a more avid ChatGPT user?
Yes and no. Yes, as in I use it more often, but no, I use Perplexity.
So you use some form of AI?
I use a large language model. I use Perplexity every day.
I can't believe how good it is and how much more I'm using it. And just as an example for anyone, like, we're supposed to go to Barcelona, and someone told us where we're staying, the rooms are really small. Mm-hmm. So I put in ChatGPT, hey, these are the dates I'm going to Barcelona. Can you give me a hotel near this hotel with bigger rooms? And then it gave me like 5. And then my wife said, no, that one's too expensive. And I'm like, how much is it per night? And she goes, that can't be right. And then she called, and it was 100% right. And then it was planning, like, it plans everything for me. And instantly, by the way, this isn't even me speaking right now. I'm just reading what ChatGPT responds to you tonight. No, but it's ridiculous.
It is insane. Actually, I have kind of a similar real quick story. I was actually working on getting vanity plates for my car, and I had to call the Secretary of State. Anyone out there that has tried to call the Secretary of State knows how terrible that is. And I didn't want to go through the menu and the switchboard and all that baloney. So I typed into Perplexity, what is the number to call to actually speak to somebody about, it was telling me that I could not get a vanity plate because the car was leased. I bought the car, so it was the previous owner that had turned a lease in. They gave me a number where when I called it, I went straight to a human being.
Really?
Straight to a human being. Asked the questions, got what I need. I was like, I'm sold on this. Otherwise, I would have been on hold for 50 minutes trying to get through all the different options and get into a human.
By the way, you called the State Department, you said?
No, the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. So when we needed our passports expedited, we had to call our representative, and this was his last official act before he was thrown out of Congress and sent to jail. George Santos helped get me my passports.
Well, at least you got them. At least you got them. Okay. First of all, join Adam Mesh and Tom Sosnoff for an exclusive webinar event today, July 15th at 4:30 Eastern. QR code is in the upper right corner there. Adam, really good stuff here today. Is there anything else you want to close out with?
No, I love your audience. I love the participation, the comments. seeing everything they have come in, getting good ideas. It's what you've built is phenomenal, and I feel lucky I get to come on and speak with everyone. So
and we're lucky that you get to come here too. We are going to do the movers, but I have one tongue-in-cheek news story that I got to get through here first. I promise I'll do it quickly. Adam, thanks very much for your time. We'll catch you next time. All right.
See you later.
All right, that is Adam Mesh for T3. Those guys are awesome. Really good stuff. I think what I like the most about Adam is that he trades a lot of the stuff that we trade here. He brings another balanced, nuanced perspective to that, and I hope that that is beneficial to all of you. Okay, 13, I see that you're ready, but real quick, I got to get through these real fast. I promised them, which is part of the issue here. The first one, this is for day trader. Day trader, where are you at? Bitcoin treasury companies play like Ponzi schemes built on a pyramid, says Peter Schiff, the old man shaking his fist at the cloud here. Quote, Bitcoin demand has shifted to Bitcoin treasury companies and speculators looking to front run that buying, Schiff argued. This is a Ponzi built on a pyramid. Schiff also aimed at Bitcoin supporters who frequently espouse that the asset's decentralized origin, saying it's not about broadening Bitcoin adoption, it's about wild centralized speculation that undermines Bitcoin's fundamental principles. What do you think about that, day trader? Of course, this all goes back to the spat with him and Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor founded a firm the Michael Saylor founded firm, added another 4,225 Bitcoin to its already dominant treasury, bringing the total hoard to above 600 Bitcoin, worth $70+ billion. So what do you think about this? Is he wrong? Is Schiff wrong? Is he just out of his element? Is he just too old to understand Bitcoin? I saw this morning and I was like, look, I don't believe a whole lot of these treasury companies are legit either, but they're fun to trade. But as soon as I started reading this, I was like, oh man, he's salty. That's all you needed to say. He indeed is salty. What was that? The Salt Bay meme? Oh man, Peter Schiff. Keep being wrong there. Okay, next here, it's another Jim Cramer story, and I almost can't believe that this is the case. All right, I almost thought this was a joke. I joked about it with my producer a little bit before we started. Now we're going to joke about this together. Jim Cramer made FANG popular, if you recall. Now he says there's a new acronym to describe these retail favorite stocks, and it's PARK. And I kind of wonder if this is a joke because that's just crap backwards. Yes, the letters that he's using here is actually crap, but he arranges it as PARK. So are we going to call this the crap trade? All right, let's try and bring this back together here. On Monday, in a post on X, Cramer wrote, quote, a new acronym for meme stocks that just won't quit, PARK, which is referring to Palantir, AppLovin, Robinhood, and Coinbase. Now, I do like the stocks that he's picked here. I would especially, 13's coming. Don't worry, Mama Bear. He's there. I just wanted to finish with this. You got to be excited about AppLovin, but I got to be honest with you. This whole PARK thing, I got a feeling we're going to be saying crap quite a bit here today. And how funny would this be if this actually marked the top in Palantir? Okay, that's all that I really wanted to get through here. I wanted to have a nice little laugh about that. Let's bring on 13 and see how he's doing here today. 13, good morning. Are you going to park it or crap it? Yeah, I did. I went there. Yes.
Yeah, I don't get that. Because I guess the implication. Well, hello everybody. How was your morning? I guess the implication there is that he believes that those not crap stocks, but they're those PARK stocks are going to suddenly get into the trillions of dollars in valuation.
Oh, he wasn't specific about that.
Okay, because that's what I was kind of gathering is like there's a new MAG or FANG series of stocks in town, and if you know what happened to them. My gathering of what he's saying is, well, I'm implying that these are going to be doing the same thing that all the FANG stocks did. And I'm just like, what? So anyway, that's the way I was reading into it. Maybe it's not the way I need to be, but I just kind of roll my eyes with a lot of stuff that he spouts out.
The only thing that he added on there, all four companies are notable for their social media fueled momentum, high levels of retail participation, and volatility, which has earned them the meme stonk moniker. That is his argument on that.
Okay. So they're meme stonks.
Evidently.
Okay.
Evidently. Okay, let's see. And I'm going through here to know he makes no other predictions there on how well those are going to appreciate. Also, for those of you that are joining a little bit late, 13, I know we kind of went on a rant yesterday about Kramer. It turns out he did actually make a call that was correct. Last night after the news, he said that the NVIDIA news, which is so huge, could turn the NASDAQ futures around. Those pounded the highs all after hours and then held again here into today. So credit where credit is due. We ripped on him a little bit yesterday. He did make a good call, but let's knock these movers out. What do you say?
Sure. Just real quick. I noticed that Restream's doing that thing again where my chat is not, scrolling up. I'm stuck at 846.
Okay. Well, we got two options here. Number one, I can do double duty and just manage the chat here, or you can take a 5-second break, leave, try reconnecting and see if that fixes it.
Let's try that.
Okay. 13's going to try that, which means he's going to be right back here. Mama Bear, I told you he was coming. NBD there on that. Now, I see a couple of you already hitting off here with some of the movers. XAGE here. This was the first one. Someone just mentioned this. Who was this? Let's see if 13 is fixed here. We good?
All right. Yeah, it looks like I can see.
Bang, bang, bang. That's how we do. We solve problems around here. Okay.
Reset and wait 30 seconds, but in this case, 5. All right.
Okay. We're going to start here with, what do I call this? Zage? I'm going to say, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but XAGE. Okay. Zage, XAGE, ticker XAGE, X-Ray Alpha Golf Echo. This is Longevity Health Holdings, and shares are trading higher after the company announced it entered into a definitive merger agreement with True Health. Now, if we look at this, it's not necessarily, didn't give any type of like price or anything like that. The stock is still trading here today. Stock's up 150%. So I'm curious to see if you think there's a trade here. Short interest, 4.77% of the float shorted on 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume here of 671,000. Today, we've traded almost 40 million. Float here is what's intriguing about this. It's under $1 million. So we got one of those micro floats here at 842,000. These are some of the stocks that we've seen make just ridiculous outsized moves. 13, what do you think on this one? Ticker XAGE.
Well, this merger is actually going to be an all-stock merger with True Health. The ticker will still remain the same. It's still going to trade under XAGE. I believe I saw that they just had an offering. Yes, they just raised almost $2 million through an at-the-money equity offering. So they increased their shares, their float size a little bit with that. I don't know if we're looking at the float pre or post that offering, but this was done back in May, so it should have already affected that change. Now, I think for this, we're just going to want to lean on technicals, because I was trying to figure out if I could, pinpoint any kind of dollar amount or anything that would kind of give us an idea of where this could head to. And I didn't want to get too deep into the woods with that. So I got the information I had. I just presented it to you. And I think we just want to kind of focus on the technicals with this one, because it is going to, it's picking up a company that's going to have better revenue. So this company should start posting positive quarters. But I don't remember how long it's going to be until this this merger happens. So, and it's also subject to stockholder approval. So anyway, for the purpose of today, we're just going to focus on the technicals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry.
No problem. So we've been kind of taking a staircase up right now. And the next level that we need to get up and over is it seems to be 680. Ever since we've had this most recent move that took us up to 736, we came right back down the next 5 minutes, and we couldn't. I don't think we even got a close over 80. No, we did at 682, but we haven't been able to recapture that. We've been hitting it multiple times, so I think the next big move is going to happen through 680 to 685. And we can draw a trend line on the top side here to give us an idea of where this could end up going. And it doesn't really seem like we're going to get a whole lot more. If we hit this trend line now, it takes us to about 750. But at least this gives us some kind of an idea of where the next area of resistance could be. If it breaks through this, we'll look at it then and see if we can get an idea of where this goes from back testing the trend line. And I haven't looked to the left to see where other levels are. So if anybody wants to help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. But I'm going to do it myself in just a minute here after we're done with these movers.
Yeah, to me, it really sure feels like 7 is going to be your first level here. This was actually, I believe, this was the lower end of the consolidation area from earlier this year back in February. We'll see if that has any strength here. One other thing to notice here from the daily chart, these days, this stock seems to pop at a pretty regular interval here, and these days continue to get sold. Now, this chart, I know this is the dark blue line, but these are actually EMAs. So this is not the 200 EMA that you're accustomed to seeing on the bigger chart. But every time we have one of these pops, the stock really comes back in on the same day. So know that going in. And to 13's point here about trading technicals, kind of what we just talked about with Adam, where some of these stocks can be hot for a day and then ghost towns the next day. Factor that in, right? Be careful with this one. Plan to be out of this one, I think, today. Yeah.
And a great point about these pop and drops they have here. Notice that every single one of these moves up, the last 4 or 5 anyway, they're all red candles. That means they opened higher and they sold off throughout the rest of the day. So we could end up getting that again today, where we open, we have a quick little pop up to some level, just like you see with all these, and then they sell off right thereafter and never come back. So I think that's what you want to expect with XAGE. As soon as they make that first up move, we're not doing this anymore.
Okay. I think you're exactly right there. Real quick here. Samel is asking, how do you buy Ripple XRP? The way I would do this is using Coinbase, but that's where my account is. That's the one I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure that there are other exchanges that you can buy this on. Help me out, folks, if you know of other places that Samel can do this. But I would say Coinbase. By the way, how about that Sinner Alcaraz match from Sunday? And then as far as the other thing that Crow suggested here, XXRP, this is a levered ETF that tracks Ripple. So if you don't want to actually own a coin and you instead want to trade in your brokerage account that's focused on stocks, Crow giving you the way to do that here via XXRP. Important to know the difference between those, though. Actually, does anyone that has a Robinhood account, can you buy Ripple on Robinhood? Let me know. Yeah, get in there.
Does XXRP, is that kind of like IBIT where it just holds the underlying only? Or is it something else?
No, definitely not, because it's a 2x levered one.
Okay.
So this is just going to be one of those that are levered here. JP says Interactive Brokers has a nice setup for crypto using zero hash. Okay. Not familiar with that, but there you go. Judge says Robinhood. Yes, it looks like you can buy Ripple on Robinhood. So there you go. Okay, good stuff. Moving on here. Next is going to be Kappa. This is KAPA, ticker KAPA. This is Kairos Pharma. I want to say that we've taken a look at this before, but I can't quite place it. Kairos Pharma shares are trading higher after the company announced safety results from its phase 2 trial of one of its drugs, ENV105, in advanced prostate cancer. So definitely getting a really good headline here about a disease that should elicit some type of interest in the stock. We popped as high as 177, it looks like. We've come back in. We're still doing a really good job holding higher than VWAP, which we want to see. Quick look around the horn on this one. 2.39% of the float shorted here. Really not a whole lot at all. That's on 1 day to cover, and that comes on 874,000 shares of average volume. Today, we've traded 90 million. Float here on this $1.50 stock is about 10 million. It actually does have analyst coverage. 13, what do you think here on ticker KAPA?
So this is off the news that their ENV-105 drug has passed phase 2 safety results. So that's what we're seeing here today.
Yep.
Just safety. This is not the end of phase 2. It's still going to be ongoing. So it's still going to need cash for that. As I recall reading this, they are still planning on having up to 100 people enrolled for this trial. They only have about 2 quarters of cash, maybe 3 if you include the $876,000 grant from the Department of Defense to further develop ENV105. I don't think it's for prostate cancer that the Department of Defense was looking for. It was, I believe, for lung cancer. But anyway, this ENV105, this is supposed to help in with different types of cancers. And this one was just for advanced prostate cancer that the study was being conducted for. So there you have that. They do have some cash. They did get a grant. At some point, they'll still likely need to raise more. I don't know if that's going to be today, but that's what I've got on the financial side. When we look at the chart here, so far with the price action today, you mentioned that we got up to as high as 176, 177. So when I'm looking at a daily chart and seeing where we've gone through, and this has only been around for for less than a year. This I don't know if you have it, but I only see this as being traded for a year. September is when this came out, went to $4. It hasn't been back there since. But when we got this movement this morning, we popped up to 176. That's about in the middle of this consolidation from late last year. We're kind of settling around 150 right now, trying to work our way through that. And if you look at where 150 is on this chart with very limited historical data, you can see that 150 is quite a bit of a resistance area. Or it's in the middle of consolidation, but we're right in the middle of this consolidation. So bit of a hard time having to chew through all these bag holders that are trying to get out of this thing after being in it for almost a year. I think that the next resistance area is going to be up in the 180s. And you look at the chart and you see that we've had a couple of big moves through 180, but they came right back in. In between that and after that, you just have a bunch of attempts to recapture 180, but to no avail. So I think 180 is going to be another resistance area if we do move higher here. And beyond that, we're getting into a spot where once we hit 2, there's likely going to be a lot less sellers in the way to push this thing up. I'm not suggesting that this is going to go this high, but just kind of telling you what I see as far as where we could get some potential resistance. So for me, it's going to be 180, and then I would say that about 260 would be the next area after that.
Okay, real quickly here, Market Sniper saying, I have previous levels on Kappa, so we must have traded it. I would agree, Market Sniper. I really think it was right in here at the beginning of January.
Yeah.
Because this huge pop actually led to another move several days later. I would imagine that would have been something that we were absolutely on. One more thing here that I wanted to ask you about. I know that you've actually followed, well, maybe not followed, but you've looked into a lot of these here. It says in here, Kairos Pharma plans to engage with regulatory agencies to discuss and design a potential pivotal phase 3 study based on emerging data. This is going to cost money. Might this be a reason that they raise in the future?
Well, absolutely.
So this might be. So this is right here without telling you exactly when that's going to happen. This is basically telling you, yeah, we're going to continue this. We don't necessarily have a timeline. Maybe someone has found a timeline here, but I would expect a capital raise or some type of cash infusion in the future here. So again, be quick with this one.
And it might happen before they're even done with this phase 2 trial that they're in right now.
Exactly.
And it's going to have future catalysts, and that might be another one where it says that they've, the company has blah, 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 engaged with the FDA, talking about its phase 3 study. We've seen plenty of headlines where stocks have run on just news like that. So you're going to get a series of future catalysts in this one. Just have no guarantee if they're going to run or not. Maybe if the stock gets beaten up enough, it will, but it's still a very low float. And if the results from any of their other trials are positive, they're going to get that headline as well. So you've got some future headlines in this, but it's just not something you want to necessarily hold and wait for. Just keep an eye on it, and if you get some alerts on it, you can make a decision then on when you want to take that position. But I wouldn't just get it and hold it waiting for those headlines.
Okay, really good stuff there, 13. And really quickly here, just because general principle, I have to do this. ET3 saying, Kramer is a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. And any time that you quote a Tropic Thunder reference on this show, you will be rewarded with the one-up sound. That was phenomenal. I'm amazed that you were able to pull something from Tropic Thunder that didn't involve some type of profanity or frowned upon analogy or word, but I digress. Okay, I want to ask, is there anything else from this list that you want to cover? Because we are very quickly running out of time, and there are a few stocks that I want to hit before the market actually opens here.
The only other one I looked at was GRO.
Okay.
And I don't know how much there is on this. Maybe there's something better. It'll trade better once we open. But we had the big impulse move on this yesterday after hours, and this is on a memorandum of understanding that they're going to get funding for their Ostasis project. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Apparently, Victor Energia is going to provide around 200 million to get this project done. And they're also going to take an equity stake in GRO. So this is just a memorandum of understanding. There's nothing guaranteed here, but it's still causing the stock to move up. Yesterday, we've been kind of leaking, this morning after that news. So we do have a bit of a trend line that we can, draw on and use if the stock does end up turning around after we open. But we are getting some support from the 200 EMA. The stock is trying to turn around. We already have had one attempt about 5 minutes ago to recapture the VWAP and the 65 EMA. So as we approach the open here, let's see if we end up getting that. And if we do, there might be an upside trade here for us. But I would still be keeping that trend line in mind with these trades. And remember, this is also news from after hours yesterday. It doesn't typically carry over as well into the following day. So I don't know how much is going to be here, but at least based on all this downside price action we've been getting going into the open here, you have some levels we can draw on for where we might want to make our exit if we trade this.
Okay, Anthony here is saying, what is potash? These are salts that contain potassium in water-soluble form. Just for reference there. Okay, a couple other things that I wanted to mention here. We already talked about TTD. We're definitely be coming back to this throughout the course of the day here. I really hope that I get bailed out on this trade. That would be fantastic. Someone else asked about PROC this morning, so I really wanted to cover that because this was Pro Kidney here. This was a big winner. The day that we traded this, Tuesday, July 8th, we actually had continuation into another day. Today, we're popping here. Pre-Kidney shares are trading higher after the company announced it aligned with the FDA regarding the accelerated approval and pathway for its drugs here, Rilparencel. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly here, but we're getting another PR here. Maybe that lights PROC. The big thing that I want to mention here on this one, pay attention to the volume. We learned that the last time here. When the volume turns to selling volume or when it dries up, lower we go. And that's not when we actually want to trade this one here.
Just be careful with this one because they just looks like they just filed to offer common stock of up to 200 million yesterday. So just keep that in mind if you're going to trade this. They had that filing on the table. You can see that yesterday. Pro
right here.
Court files for common stock offering up to 200 million. Says an offering company may offer and sell shares of classic common stock. So I'm not going to spend time looking into this right now, but just keep in mind that they've got an offering on the table. They could drop that as soon as today.
Okay, there you go. And by the way, it actually looks like Kappa here, which we just talked about, trying to take another leg up here. Okay, PROC, that was one of them. MP, this is another one here. This has been massive winner here. MP Material shares are trading higher after the company announced a partnership with Apple to produce recycled rare earth magnets in the U.S. That actually looks pretty good here. That seems like a pretty good headline here for MP. We were trading right shy of 50s. We're trading about $49 yesterday. We popped almost as high as 56 here today. I actually do think that 56 level might come into play here today. We topped out earlier here in the pre-market at 55.5. So we'll see here on MP more really good news. This up 11.1% here. Real quick, just to check in here, 20.86% of the float shorted. So we do have significant short interest here. Only 2.34 days to cover, but still notable here. On average, the stock trades 11.7 million shares. We've only traded 4.6 million here today. So maybe we do get a little squeeze action here on MP.
Yeah, there's not much resistance in the way here. I'd say that maybe $56 is the last bastion before the all-time highs. Because you look at this price action from March of 20 and April of 22. That's basically the last of the price action that we're dealing with here. It looks like it was having a hard time getting up and over 56. So I'm kind of putting a little area out there as resistance, and then you have the all-time highs, which was right around 60. So there you go, 56 and 60 next upside targets before blue skies.
Okay, good stuff there on MP. Okay, I think that's it here from the movers list. I do have a list from the group of stocks that you wanted to see. Okay. MP and PROC were already on there. NVIDIA we've looked at already. Andrew is asking, are you looking at the SPY? Yes, we always start with the SPY here. If you want to get the SPY breakdown, it's got to be here early. I'm sure we'll look at it again, but yes, we've already covered that here, as well as the CPI print. Did you have any thoughts on the CPI print, I guess, 13, or No, yes.
Well, let's see, because I was trying to cover some of these stocks, and I didn't get a lot of time to look at that, but I saw that they were slightly lower than what the expectations were.
Yep.
So there was, I know you want me to go to rates regarding this, but at the same time, with all the things we discussed yesterday and all the different geopolitical situations happening, China and other parts of the Asia Pacific, I still think that we could see cuts, but this seems to be pressuring Powell even more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with all the geopolitical tensions, I think they're just going to continue to wave the uncertainty flag.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. Actually, a quote from Jeremy Siegel is already setting up. I had mentioned this earlier, already setting up for kicking the can down the road and waiting for the next CPI print, which will encompass the July data. So I'm with you there. I don't think this changes anything. I don't think we're going to get a rate cut here in July. I think we're still on pace for the first one in September. I don't think the data changes anything here today. That's just my 2 cents. We'll see if we end up. Doing that. Yeah,
I liked Market Mayhem's take on the August symposium, where
the Jackson Hole symposium.
Yeah, and he was saying that that would offer Powell an opportunity to change his stance, or kind of really express his thoughts on everything, and we might get a little bit of a different Powell out of that symposium. So we'll see. That's going to be next month.
Pow, pow, pow. Okay, let's see. I really quickly wanted to take a look at JPM here. This was also on the list. Jay Rice, good to have you back, Jay, saying JPM red to green, which is helping the indices. Indeed, that is the case. It's worth noting here, JPM, the initial move was higher here above 294 before coming back in. Just to kind of recap the actual earnings print here today, JP Morgan, EPS 496 beats the 448 estimate. Sales of 45.68 billion beat the 44.16 billion estimates. That's not bad there. Q2 assets under management 4.3 trillion plus 18% year over year. Client assets 6.4 trillion, which is plus 19% year over year. Average loans plus 5%. Average deposits plus 6%. Upgrade in full year guidance. This is a good report. It's the fortress. It's the best in breed for the retail banking. And Jay is absolutely right. The morning price action here is kind of helping us out. We're actually up near the highs. We are going to open at new all-time highs here today. So here we go with JPM. This one looking pretty good here this morning.
Yeah, this has been riding its 20-day SMA ever since it recaptured it in April. I have to think at some point it's gonna lose it, and the more times it gets support from it, the less confident I become. So I'm gonna watch for what happens out of the open. If we get a pull here, what we don't want to see, I think, is for this to go under 285, because I think that puts even more pressure on the 20-day SMA.
Yeah,
it looks a little bearish to me. Sorry.
I would agree. I would say that if we are in danger of losing the 20-day SMA, there's going to be more downside here. But right now, very, very tough for me to say we don't try to take out the 296 high and go towards 300 here. Real quick for Pete regarding the interest rate thing here, still have court cases, big one at the end of July, to determine the legality of tariffs outside Congress. The Fed won't move until at least September 2nd, my 2 cents. So I would agree with the back half of what you're saying here. To me, it totally makes sense that the Fed wouldn't move if there are open court cases. But let's be realistic. The court cases are going to be fine. These are not going to get overturned. They're going to go ahead. It's going to be just fine. Now, will the Fed wait for that? That makes a lot of sense. September still looks like the one where we actually would see that first cut. I'm not on board for a July cut. Okay, that takes care of JPM. We're running out of time here, man. You folks loaded it up. I know we wanted to take a quick look at Meta. Here is Meta. This just still holding above the 20-day. We're actually 723. We're actually up by 0.3% here. The one thing I want to see a break here above these all-time highs pretty soon. Otherwise, this is turning into a double top for me. Any similar thought for you, 13? Do you have any thought on the Meta chart at all? If not, that's fine.
Yeah, I can see how 740 is kind of a bit of a topping out area here for this one. Now, once again, another one that's riding its 20-day SMA, as a lot of these big names have been. Don't want to see a loss of that 20-day SMA.
No.
If we lose that, I think we're going to come back in and start and look to test the 50. So it seems like we're still coming off those highs from June 30th, kind of in a downtrend from that, even though we're more largely in an uptrend since April 7th. So I guess I would say let's not lose the 20-day SMA, and if we do, let's hope we don't lose 708.
Okay. 708 downside level to look at on Meta. And really quickly before the open, we're going to sneak it in here. Lululemon. Question here was, is Lululemon ready to bounce? I think something of that nature. If I'm misquoting you a little bit, I apologize. Couple of things to note here. Number one, I don't think this has confirmed bottom. So I think you really want to, if you're going to trade this, you really want to think long and hard about your risk to reward here and how you're going to actually trade this. It does look like maybe it's trying to hold in here, but this seems like we already bounced off this once. We really couldn't take out the 20. Now it looks like we're kind of rolling over to retest some of those lows. I understand why you're looking at this. RSI and Williams percent are both showing oversold here, and perhaps we are ready for a bounce here. I would just wait for this to be confirmed. Okay, we're open.
Yeah, real quick on Lulu, I think it's going lower. Unlike the ones we were just looking at, this is riding its 20-day SMA down. I still think that a break of 220 to go lower is setting up in the future. So I don't think that we're done with downside on Lulu yet.
Okay, there you go. Really good stuff. We are open. Let's see what today brings here. Good luck, everybody.
Here we go with XAge. That's trying to push up over 680 right now. This is one of the levels. See if we end up getting this move through it. And if we do, we'll be looking at, looks like at this stage with the trend line, probably about 775 if we get this breakthrough 680.
Okay.
Looks like we're pulling off of that, so it may not be ready for that yet. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it looks like it's trying to pump back up towards the highs there. I'm actually going to throw this in my other chart as well here on XAGE. Let me roll through some of these other ones.
Kappa is was lower out of the gate. This kind of looks like it's going to roll over in a bit here. It's trying to push up now. Let's see if it can get over 190. There's a big seller in the way there. So if we get through that, we can look at the other levels we were talking about. I think it was like $2, I think I said on Kappa. But let's see what happens here with 190. Big seller in the way.
Indeed. And by the way, XAGE here, right to the top end of the range, tried to go through 7, couldn't, now pulling. We'll see if it gets support there at the VWAP.
Yep. Looks like it's getting it a little bit right now, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Oh boy, Baba here. This big gap higher here on Baba. This just has to do with the Chinese stock seeing a broad rally on the back of that U.S. chip curb news that we got. Baba here, 114. I'd be curious to see if Baba can break 115.5. This actually might go on a run here today.
NVIDIA is selling off, and I have a theory. You want to look at your daily chart for NVIDIA?
I'd love to. Let me get that up here real quick. NVIDIA was actually on the list of stocks that folks wanted to take a look at here today, so this fits perfectly. Here you go. What are we seeing on NVIDIA 13? Oh, no, undo. Whew.
It's okay. I don't think you need that anyway.
Well, what are you talking about? We got an upside level here at 179 we need to observe. Anyway,
draw a trend line from June 20th last year through November 21st last year, and keep it going. Tell me what you see.
Here's the November 21st. We're going to go ahead and draw it right through the top of that. Bam, bam, bam. I see a trend line that we are straddling right now.
We are hitting. We hit this. I had this trend line. I was waiting for this to happen. This is the day it hit. I think NVIDIA could turn around. If we can't break through this trend line, I think we're turning around here.
Okay.
Gold sell, says Jonathan Cooper. CYCC is halted, says EROC. Ross is mentioning FTFT. A lot of things moving here. So yeah, okay. So FTFT did get a little bit of a pop up to 345, backed off of that. CYCC was another a mover this morning.
Let me go back to my main workspace here.
It was
XAGE back up, right up towards 7, by the way. Sorry about interrupting.
So CYCC that popped way earlier this morning. It has not been back up to that 1021 price yet. Every time it's been trying to recapture VWAP, it gets rejected. Now we're halted the upside after we've just moved through VWAP. So looks like the next level we want to watch for is about 570, then 620, 25. Those will be the next upside levels I'll be looking for if we continue upwards. Kappa is halted to the downside. And Jay, it's not that I've been negative on NVIDIA. I've been negative on its valuation. I think it's way overvalued. That's just the way I see it. I know I'm kind of alone in that camp, but I don't believe it's worth $4 trillion.
And also here, real quick, Joe is saying, Ryan, how much thought did you put into the TTD July 18 expiry dates? Did you anticipate potential inclusion into the S&P 500? Taking the second half of your question first, no, I didn't. I didn't take that into consideration at all. In fact, this headline is bailing me out of this trade because this was going to be 100% loss on a rather small kind of risky trade here. No, I didn't take that into account. However, I did think about the expiry date because I wanted enough time for us to maybe assault this gap. Maybe try and take this gap out, get into it, maybe try to push higher. Also, the 200-day back at the time was a little bit above that. I think it's still at like 92 and change. I selected the 90 calls on that one. So no, I didn't have anything to do with the inclusion into the S&P 500. But we will exit them likely today.
XAGE, this popped up to 780. That trend line that we drew, it has not been able to get above it. This might be that pop that we're waiting for before the stock sells off. So I don't want to tell you what to do when it comes to trading this. It might go higher, but based on what we were discussing earlier and looking at the history of how the stock trades, every day that has big pops and it opens higher, we get one big move up and then it sells off the rest of the day. This might be the move up. So just to be safe, I don't know that I'd be trading XAGE anymore. Don't want to tell you what to do. If you want to keep trading it, go for it. But just based on the history that we observed with this stock, I think after we get this big pop out of the gate here, that's going to be all the trading I'd want to do with this.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff. And hello, everyone that joined a little bit late. Billy, Amanda, Kathy, AI Rod, Jay, Martin, Smoke Tuna, Beach Bum, Jimmy. Good morning to everybody here. Thank you for joining us here today. Okay, so this XAGE, I talked about 7 there, took it off the screen, went right through the trend line. Let's see if we set up with another trade here on XAGE. One of the other things that I wanted to mention is I wanted to see what the NVIDIA calls look like here. These so far look like closing trades to me. 170, 172 strike. That's right where the price is here. NVIDIA, definitely a highly traded name here, especially in the options market. You see, like we are taking some gains here today. 167.5s, 165s, fast and furious. Folks taking gains on their NVIDIA trades here. Good stuff. Good morning, Stock Trader for Life.
So CYCC, that's unhalted now, but it's about to go into another halt. This went through one of those levels already. Now it's at the doorstep of the next one. 620 is the next resistance area. We get through that, we're pretty much going to be tapping the pre-market open print, which shot up to 1021. So that whole candle there, we're about to get into.
XAGE, nasty pull right back down to the VWAP, but it did hold it so far. Your CYCC moving through the VWAP to the upside. We tried to do this once in the pre-market and we got slapped. Want to see if we can hold above this. This is halted. We'll see what happens out of that halt. NVIDIA options still trading pretty good here. Looks like we are getting some new trades here on put buyers, albeit small there in terms of the actual premium used. One other thing to mention here, I know we spent a lot of time talking about NVIDIA. Look at the move on AMD. Shout out to a lot of this chat who has been on AMD and saying, you know what? I know we spent a lot of time talking about NVIDIA here today. AMD, we talked about this being a potential catch-up trade. We talked about the price to earnings, the valuation looking better here in AMD. We talked about some of the different themes that could really kind of take this higher here. This thing has been straight up since we've talked about that. It feels like it anyway. Straight up since Liberation Day on AMD. We are at pretty much a double right now here. AMD also had some news about about their chips there, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Let's see it in here.
What I remember seeing about AMD in headlines maybe yesterday and over the weekend was that their chips are quickly becoming on par in performance with NVIDIA's. Now, I understand that when it comes to AMD, their developer ecosystem and that entire community around CUDA development is, AMD doesn't have that. But given enough time, I think that'll change. AMD is not quite a peer of NVIDIA, but they are quickly becoming one. They're certainly a challenger.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff there. By the way, XAGE, after that nasty pullback down to VWAP, this now trying to resolve higher back above 7. Wild action here in XAGE so far here this morning. And I'll tell you what, 13, the trend line, I'm going to be entirely unsurprised if this trend line just gets interacted with all day here today.
I would much rather see XAGE just do what it did every time it pops and sell off. I think if we got that observation correct and it sells off pretty soon and continues to go down throughout the day like it has in the past, I think that was just some really good pattern recognition. We'll see if we end up getting that, because on my chart we haven't broken through that trend line. We have a slight print above it, but haven't been able to get through it yet. It looks like it is setting up to try and take it out, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay. I'm going to throw Kappa up here, I think. Just
Kappa
for a
not looking good.
Yeah, no, it isn't. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. BRB.
Okay. So Kappa now trying to recapture its VWAP. I think that's what you've got there. Yeah, it looks like it. So this, this one actually already looks like it's going to continue lower. We might get some a little bit of relief here that tries to take it back up to about 150. Don't know we're going to get back through 150 with this one. It's going to probably take a lot more volume than what it's getting right now. So that would be the thing I'd be looking for with Kappa next. We have GRO that we were also covering this morning. That lost its 200 EMA right out of the gate, and it is trying to recapture that as well. I'd also expect a lower print in this one first before it really turns around. So that's about that with those two. Just waiting to see what ends up happening with XAGE. It does look like it's trying to set up to go higher, but we'll see if that ends up happening. What else are we looking at here? You cashed in your NVIDIA trade from yesterday. All right, Big Abees, you have a good one then. Well done on your NVIDIA trade. AMD on December 2016 was $3 a share. Yeah, we also had a low price in NVIDIA too, not too many years ago as well. All right, hey, here comes XAGE trying to make its way through that trend line. We'll see if it breaks out or not. Meanwhile, there was also mentioned earlier about FTFT. That popped, dropped, and then it got some support around some of the highs in the pre-market, looking to go back up through its VWAP right now. Kappa still trying to recapture that VWAP, and XAGE popped through the trend line up to 799. Is it going to hold?
And that stopped at 8, by the way, is your high print there on XAGE. Volume actually looking pretty good. Tuna, what do you see the AI signals say there about XAGE? This to me looks like it's going to try and keep going here. Remember, we actually already had one pull too that shook some of those weak hands as we brought that to VWAP. PLRZ, this is a stock that was a penny stock. Poly Rising, we've traded this one before. This ramping here, volume actually looks pretty good. Shares are trading higher after the company announced it retained its NASDAQ listing. Following a hearing panel, excuse me.
Didn't we trade this at one point? And that was the thing we were waiting for, was that NASDAQ recompliance?
Yes.
Okay. Got a bit of a trend here with this one too. So where's this trading at right now? 145. This one's nice in the sense that it's recaptured its 20 and 50-day SMAs. We've got a bit of a trend line here. It's going back from March through the high of May and June. So that would be the next area of resistance I'd be looking for. That'd be about 160, 165. That's what I'm getting with PLRX.
PLRZ?
Mm-hmm.
PLRZ, not PLRX. Okay, real quickly here.
Was it PLR? I got the wrong one then. I'm sorry.
PLRZ, Polyrizon, PLR. Let me make sure I didn't screw it up, 13. I'm not infallible. It's absolutely PLRZ, Polyrizon.
Okay. Well, PLRX has an interesting trend line. But anyway,
that's actually amusing.
I misunderstood. Okay, so this one also has an interesting trend line. Let's see if I can figure out where this goes.
And really quickly here, one of the things I'm noticing early, we're seeing a pullback from the new all-time high open that we just got here. SPY, NASDAQ, and Dow all pulling. NASDAQ seems to be trying to turn around. The outlier, though, is Apple, which is trading higher here by about 1%, 2 points. So Apple moving to the highs. Also, Amazon, is that a dip buy? Scalped Amazon. Damn it. I thought I was going to be on time this time. And nope, Izzy already beat me, dude. All right. So that Amazon pull just sub 226. Actually, that I wouldn't be shocked if we try 227 here on Amazon. Good stuff on that first scalp there. Also, somebody wanted to take a look at Uber earlier. I think there was news on Uber. I know we had kind of a lot to get through here today. Here's your Uber chart. The thing that's notable, number one, with the price action here. Come on. We just lost this trend line here in today's action. Uber down by 1.2% here. It's actually pulling on this daily. Come on, dude. What is wrong with this chart? I actually just lost the 15 EMA there. Just now. I think we had news on this as well. Baidu and Uber join forces to accelerate the autonomous vehicle deployment.
Apple 215, watch for that level. I think there could be resistance there if it gets up to that price today.
Baidu and Uber announced partnership to deploy thousands of Baidu's Apollo Go on Uber platform across markets outside U.S. and mainland China. Izzy here giving us a call. Thank you, Izzy. Uber is going under 90 in the next few days, so it looks like the short-term trade here, in Izzy's opinion, is to the downside.
Well, they're dealing with China, so yeah. So this has the 20-day SMA in the way for the downside in Uber. There could be support there. It's about 91.50 is where that value is. If it gets through that, then $90 does look like the next solid area of support.
Okay.
Kappa is consolidating at 130 to 140.
AI Rod. Sorry here, real quick. AI Rod, the other Ryan Cohen spoke favorably about Apple this morning on CNBC. So you know what's interesting about that? I had to mute that interview because that is, without a doubt, in the last probably year or 2 years, the worst interview that CNBC has ever done. Ryan Cohen could not have been more. You'd have had a better interview with a mime than with him. He was absolutely awful. They were talking about some contest where they're going to get his underwear or something like this. They were trying to ask him questions. It was like he just woke up and was giving one-word answers. I didn't hear the rest of it. That interview sucked. I'm not afraid to say it, and I muted it. So good to know that buried in that piece of junk was some positive news on Apple. Now we're seeing Apple trade up by 1% here. Apple actually pulling off the 211 high there.
Kappa, if it can't capture VWAP, which I'm not sure it is, that looks like it's headed down towards 105, where the 65 EMA is. It might get a little bit of a brief support at 115, but I'm not confident that'll hold as much as the 65 EMA will.
Okay, this is KAPA Kappa. It does look like XAGE is going to try and take out that 827 intraday high there.
CYCC, after halting up twice, we got a pop all the way up to the mark of the beast, and then it started selling off. We're halted the downside now.
Okay, seeing some AMD puts get bought, also NVIDIA puts. So it does look like maybe some of the profit taking is over. On the overnight trade there, we might see some loading up of new positions here. Real quick, MP, more new highs. We actually took out the pre-market high. Shame on me. I should have had this one in focus. I thought this was probably going to be our big runner out of the open, and I got sidetracked there. Izzy mentioning that Joby has news here today. The eVTOL stocks are ones that we have definitely followed here. Appreciate you, Izzy, for bringing this here to the group. We had a nice little pot. Was this pre-market? Yeah, it looks like they tried to front run the open there, and we've basically just pulled out of the open. Let me get you your news here for Joby. Joby expands manufacturing capacity in California and Ohio, adds a new aircraft to its fleet. Do they have a picture of? Is this it?
This went all the way to some of these levels in August of 2021.
Good shout on this, Izzy. I'm sorry this wasn't on my rundown here today. This is a good shout. This is something that our group focuses on quite a bit. I should have put this front and center here today. Good mention.
Kappa trying to push VWAP, says Yarn Ramos.
Once fully operational, the expanded marina site is expected to be able to produce up to 24 aircrafts per year, which is nearly one every other week. That seems like a low figure for me, but maybe I don't fully understand the business. Anyway, sorry, 13, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh, that's all right. Smoke Tuna saying CYCC don't touch it today. Maybe the move is already in. But I mean, if it's halting like this, I can understand why he's kind of giving us that caution there. It's, you could get trapped in that.
The other mention here, Smoke Tuna saying Mullen has a 93% tuna AI signal today. Just saying it's giving some just for a day trade. It's almost as if Smoke Tuna knew how the group was going to react to that. Jay Rice wasting no time. Don't do it. Don't do it to me, Smoke Tuna. I'll say this. I'm going to pass here on Mullen. I give you all full permission to make fun and laugh at me if this ends up being the stock du jour. I don't think so, though. I don't think so.
Have a good one, Wisdom.
Take care of yourself, Wisdom. Ryan, like UMAC, okay, so you like the unusual machines bounce. Remember, this is one of those names that moved on Hegseth saying that drones were going to be fast-tracked. We had a pretty nasty pullback because they did an offering right after that, right? And that's pulled it down here. Now it looks like this is bouncing here. Interesting. You liking UMAC today. So let me ask you, Izzy, is this a swing? Do you like this just as like a day trade scalp higher here on maybe a breakthrough highs? Do you think maybe we test the recent high up here at 13? Draw me more of a map here. Lion, take care of yourself, boss. Good stuff here this morning.
Being asked if I see if SPRO will go to 250 before it bounces. Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say really quick, I'm sorry I've interrupted you thrice now. Jay here saying that the TTD fade is working. Usually S&P ads get faded. I put a stop in on those calls at 70 cents and I was filled. So the price that I bought them at was 95. The stop was 70. I thought this was going to be 100% loss. I got a ton of it back. I didn't make any money on it, so there's nothing to celebrate. But good Lord, it continues to fade here. The premium continues to evaporate. All out the trade desk. Okay, sorry, 13.
No, so regarding SPRO, I think the news that got us up to this point where I guess we have a floating island, that was on phase 3 data. So 250 looks like it's actually a support area, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up losing that as well. This is a biotech company. It's going to have these big moves up on, big news like phase 3 data. But there's always this risk that they're going to have to raise more capital. I mean, what does this company have? So it loses about 13 million a quarter, and it's got about 49 million. So likely not going to need to raise capital, but to bring it to market, unless they get some kind of partner, that'll be costly. There's also the question of does this have other stuff in the pipeline that's going to eat away at its cash position? I'm sure it does. So I would also be looking to see if that's the case. But to your question, yeah, I think this could easily come down to 250. But I don't know for sure if it's going to bounce there. It looks like it might make a quick bounce before it goes lower, but because it does look like a support area, I just don't know if it'll hold.
AMPX here, Gringo Loco, making money on this move here. AMPX, interestingly, this is only traded, about 80%? Yeah, 80% of its relative volume. So hasn't fully traded it yet, but it will here today. I almost wonder if that'll pick up when we cross that threshold there. Also, Jay Rice, by the way, your little semiconductor, your INDI, look at the rip right out of the gate on this. Now, I'm not in this one anymore. I actually ended up booking a loss on this one, although it wasn't very big. But this one here ripping out of the gate, curious to know what your thoughts are on that.
I wanted to mention, thinking about it, you had talked about Black Sky earlier, and that's one of the space plays. And I agree. That it doesn't seem to really get as much love until there's a headline, but I think that's one of the great space plays. Not my my top 4, but certainly up there in, like, maybe my top 10 or 7. It's one that I like, but there's others that I like better. But I think it's a good one. I agree with you. 13 levels on UNH later, no problem. I'll give you some levels here in just a bit.
Yeah, actually, that UNH, bad news continues there at UNH. I do think there's going to be another trade there. I think the most recent news is that there's an investigation on some of the Medicare payouts. I don't know if I got that one right. Nice job there on Amazon again. Hey, how about that, Izzy? Almost at that 227 level. And Jay mentioning Hood red to green. It looks like Lion left too early. Lion was out here shouting about Hood earlier. Hood now red to green move on this. Indeed, we just took 100.
For UNH, that doesn't really line up too well. Oh, maybe it does.
I'll go to my big chart and do this with you.
Okay, so it's kind of looking at the well, I mean, I don't know if your chart will go back that far. There's a peak in November of 2018 before we backed off and didn't retest that until over a year later. So I'm wondering, and it's about at 288, maybe not exactly, but 288 is about where that is. And I look at 288 over the recent price action we've had. That's about the bottom of the May 27th area. Low is 289.13. So kind of down around there in the high 280s. Looks like a support area. Maybe we could even say 290. I would just kind of keep my eye on that area. That'd be the next level down. I'd be keeping an eye on.
Is this from April, May of 2020?
No, this was from the high, a peak from November, December of 2018.
2018. Well, I do have that. So that's right in here. I gotcha. That's right in here. Yeah. So for whatever reason, I've got more candle history here on UNH, but I see exactly what you're talking about here. Joe saying I like UNH to 290 from June 5. So let's see what the seasonality is like on UNH here. Let me do that here for you real quick.
And if we lose 290, I mean, we could certainly go much lower. We could even go below where we had that low from May.
So this is interesting here. You can see the 10-year trend here for United Health Group. Now, there's a lot to take into account here because we did not have, in this 10-year data, we didn't have all of the hoopla for whatever it's worth that's going on right now. It does look like we just missed the entry here on UNH. It looks like the entry was July 9th. And you had pretty good seasonality going all the way to, what do we got here? August 15th. Look at this. Even when it goes red, it ends up closing green here on a seasonality basis. So, okay, seasonality, you're in it. We're in a good spot right now on this. I'm not sure it's going to work, though. We have some extraordinary things going on. There are things outside the norm going on there at UNH.
XAGE. Not able to hold above 7. It is trying to recapture VWAP right now, but I think this might be the time where this is going to just sell off for the rest of the day. I don't know that we're going to get back up to those $8 prints that we were seeing earlier.
Bitcoin, by the way, back up off the lows there, 117. We actually are banging on the door of 119 here on the futures chart. So Bitcoin, we talked about that being a possible risk on, risk off, indicator. Bitcoin strong here today, post the open. Apple gave up its gains from earlier. Netflix regained what it lost earlier.
CYCC is halted again, this time back up to the upside. But, heed the warning from earlier. Be careful with this one.
I'd rather just avoid stuff like this personally. It's no good for my heart. It just isn't. I mean, I'm just being honest with you folks here. Oh, Google, get me home. Google, just let's go. Let's go. That's the other thing here. Google talked about this one. This was a great trade off the idiot drop. I look forward to more of these because these actually give me some pretty good confidence. Google also has pretty good seasonality right here. But the idiot drop from last week on the news of the OpenAI browser that really kind of sank this thing. Yeah, that was baloney. This has been a straight up since then. Shout out to whoever yesterday said that this thing was going to 183. I know we didn't hold it. It came back in, but we're grinding higher here. That 183 or 183 and a half or whatever that exact call was timely and accurate. Good stuff from the group yet again. Google will be looking to close this trade here today, I think. The remainder of this trade. Remember, we're already sold half at 100%. Okay.
Looks like
now we talking.
Looks like CYCC is open again, trying to print new highs. And there it is, new highs of the session.
More AMD and NVIDIA puts rolling through the wire here. These were repeat sweeps of 1,000 contracts on the put side for NVIDIA. These expire this week. NVIDIA fading off of that move higher as well. S&P, by the way, continuing to move down. We're still holding on to the green here, but we are definitely off the highs. S&P future intraday high here, 63.43, currently at 63.20. Easy for me to say.
So I just saw a mention here on SBET. Joseph Schmo saying SBET through 26. Are we looking for this to go to the highs from yesterday? The high from yesterday was 27.61. I think we were also looking at this potentially going to 30. Let me know if that's what you're looking at here, Joseph.
Here is SBET, the $26 key level still in play on SBET. I know we went right to it, but boy, are we struggling to build and move above it.
Yeah, how's the broader market looking here? I mean, it's nice that we finally got out of that sideways price action we've been dealing with for the past couple of weeks, but we just dropped right back into it. All right, so I don't want to make this call too early, but it still is looking like XAGE is going to continue lower. And we do have areas we can draw upon from all the price action on the way up where it might bounce. So if it continues lower from here, it looks like 6 is the next spot, 6 even.
Gringo Loco, AMPX, we might break this intraday high and pop above that. What's your exit strategy, by the way, on AMPX? This is not one that I had lined up prior to the open here today. Here's your XAGE chart.
Yep, it's going lower right now.
Boy, that trend line really came into play, 13. Yet again, dude.
Well, we've seen trend lines where they break out and go higher and then back test to continue the upside. The big thing with this one was that we observed all those previous times where it opened higher and then just sold off. So, I just thought maybe that's something that could happen again. It's happened the same way the past 4 times it had news that drove it up, had a higher open, it sold right off that day. Why couldn't today be any different?
Yep. Any of you folks think we keep selling here? Market, I know, Izzy, you said you think the market will continue to pull here. It's kind of doing it back and forth here. It almost feels like it's undecided. Let me put a limit order in for the remainder of this Google position and see if we get filled on any kind of pop move higher. That might be. We're already what? 100. We're 160% gain on the rest of these. So let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Let's just put in an offer a little bit higher and see if we pop into this and fill it. It's not a ton of contracts, so we'll see here on Google. I'll let you know if I fill that. I am looking to exit here today. That'd clean up 2 swings today. That would be awesome. Next, all we'd be really waiting on here at Home Depot. At that point, we got plenty of time on that one. That's the August contract. Okay.
Hood had a nice little price action here this morning. So in the after hours, we had a drop that took it down to $98, and went back up over 99, went sideways up until we just opened. We dropped down to that same after hours low and then rebounded. Now we're back over 100, looking at 101.
Filled Google, that trade booked too. Bang.
Ryan's on fire today.
No, yeah, I'm really happy because here's one of the things that we had talked about recently, and we even kind of talked about it here today. Market is trading up here. We're not really sure if maybe we get a pullback. We're setting some of these new all-time highs. Now we're, kicking the can down to the August 1st. Maybe we get some tariff headlines here. My thing is I had several short-term swings on, and I was trying to leg out of them and be as smart as I can about it. And now we freed up more capital, which is awesome. If we end up moving down, we're going to be ready for that.
See, folks, he is fired up.
I can get hired up too. I mean, that'll do. But no, I am definitely, I'm 2 cups of coffee deep. I'm working on the remainder of my Irish breakfast tea here, and we're having a good day here on a Tuesday. There we go.
Yeah, Smoke Tuna, hey, thanks for the call on FTFT. That is continuing to move up. Let's see. Looks like back on, what was that, Thursday? It got as high as, what is this, 420 in the regular session and 480 in the pre-market. Those would be levels I'd be keeping an eye on.
So Fahad's asking, should we position ourselves for a potential pullback? This really comes down to like your own view here on the market. As far as like where we're at here and with what's going on, I mean, like today's print, so we get it. It's not as bad as people expect. Market's pulling a little bit. What do you think we might get tomorrow with the PPI? You think we might see an extension of this? It looks like a little bit of indecision here today.
And we could continue with that indecision. It could just be more of what we're getting here. Like, you see how, remember we were talking about the sideways channel and SPY? This news popped us out of that, and now we're right back in it after selling off. Would not surprise me if we got something similar with PPI.
Yeah. Okay. So Fahad, just coming back to your question here, really what this comes down to in terms of what you're looking at, do you think we break down or break up from the sideways channel? Now, today's candle here, 13's absolutely right. It looks like we peaked above, but really couldn't get it. And now we're back into the channel. Let me know. Let me know what you think. I look, we're at near all-time highs. We've made a huge run since April. We're overbought on Williams percent hour. We're about to be at overbought on RSI. We continue to put low volume days, almost as if we're able to push higher because the volume is so low. So if we get a headline here that really kind of rocks something, I definitely think that the down move is probably going to be the one to pay. But I don't have any position for that. It's been tough to be a bear recently. It really has. And I've just, like I said, I've been long some of the swings. I really don't want to evaporate any of my profit by kind of hedging some of those. Now that we're out of those, hedging looks a little bit more attractive. I don't know if I think we're necessarily going to sell off from here yet. Slimy Tromos. I don't know what that means, so I hope I didn't just say something bad or colloquially negatively looked on. Anyway, do you have a Discord community? We don't. We've talked about starting up a new Benzinga branded Discord. I'll let you know if we get anything on that. Our community is right in here, dude. It is right in our YouTube channel. We run shows all the time. We have guests on all the time. We put this show out to YouTube, X, Twitch. So as long as you're on one of those social medias, you should be able to join our community. And of course, we have Benzinga Pro, which has its own chat rooms built into it as well.
We did try that Discord some years ago, and it just didn't get the participation we needed.
And unfortunately, the participation that it got were the bots and scammers, which is just shitty for everybody. Pardon my language.
Yeah, so that ended up being a whole task in and of itself. All right, well, it looks like CYC is going to have no chill today. This is about to halt to the upside again. I guess I'll just say it. Maybe it's going to go to 10. Maybe. Kappa is trying to find some support at the, what is this, the 130 level. It was resistance in the pre-market. Once we blasted through it, it became support. So now it's down here getting tested as support. Unfortunately, you have some seller at 135 that appears to be walking this price down every little, few moments here. He's kind of stuck at 135 right now. It's going to need some more volume to chew through that.
Jay here mentioning open. Jay saying open. Not often do I buy names in the $1 range. I do like this one. Why is that? What's the thesis here? Because we've talked a little bit about Open Door over the years. This has made a really nice move recently. What's the thesis here? Why buy this here? Man, this is a double from the 53-cent low that it just put in. What do you like about open here? Let me take a look at the short interest on this. 21.5%, 1.49 days to cover. Not terribly elevated there. Humongous float. What do you like about this? Curious. It is having a good day here today. Did we have news on this? No. This is still up 17%. I'm not sure I'm going to chase that entry at plus 17%, but definitely interested in what you're interested in there. In open. Markets and Mayhem, good morning. Good morning to you. What do you see out there? What do you see with the NVIDIA news? Do you see anything new in terms of the call or the put walls for NVIDIA? I'm just asking out of curiosity more than anything else. I guess AMD I would also ask about.
Looks like Kappa is taking the next leg lower, so not able to hold that 130 area.
Is anyone trying to short CYCC? I'm seeing here from a reputable source on X that there are no borrows available, which would tell me I would think that some of those shorts are getting squeezed here.
What's the short interest on this?
Short interest on this one, 40.46% and 1 day to cover.
And it's probably a low float. Yeah, less than $1 million. Okay. So that makes it easy to move this thing around, but it's so that means that when the sellers do start to kick in, this thing's going to come down pretty fast. All right.
I think in order to get that link, I've got to go. Just give me a sec here. I'll grab that.
We are. Let's see. We are getting some more altitude here out of SBET. It does look like it wants to go for 27. There's several sellers in the way from about 2680 to 27. They're starting to load up there around that 27 area. We are pushing up right now with SBET.
Yeah, I can't grab your link. Yeah, Markets and Mayhem, we should have you on. Are you available this week? Are you available again on maybe Thursday? Maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah, come on, have a good time.
Yeah, that was awesome last time. I'd be happy to do that again.
And those movers this morning, not great.
No, they really aren't. They really aren't.
You're looking for 10 and above for CYCC, Daniel? All right. Billy mentioning USAR. Michael Sniper saying Wolf with the O is going for a new high a day.
That's the bankrupt one, though, I thought. Chapter 11.
They're probably squeezing them. I mean, that's massive short interest. I don't see anything else that it could be.
Yeah, maybe I got this one right. Is it WUL? I keep
no. It's right. It's with the O. But as you had pointed out, this is the one that was going bankrupt. It's extremely shorted. Like almost 75% of the float is shorted. So it's this should be pretty easy to squeeze, and that's all I think we're seeing out of this. Because look at the price action otherwise. Like prior to the open here, looks like a barcode. Very illiquid, not even getting touched until the short squeeze happens, which is happening now. All right, he's coming on Thursday.
Yep, we'll do that. I'll make sure I get you a link there. Appreciate you.
And Ahmed is mentioning that MP is going higher. want to see 60 with this one. Why isn't MP in that crap list of stocks that Kramer likes? Isn't this kind of hot?
It's Park. Okay.
Yeah, Park.
It's Park. We have to have some fun here. CYCC continuing to trade up here. Okay, appreciate you. NVIDIA, that call while they're 170 and AMD 160.
Excellent.
See where we're at here on that. How about that? We're right there on NVIDIA, and I'm pretty sure. Let me just type it in here.
FTFT has been going through a couple of ugly knives right here. Looks like it had a run-in with Britney Spears. CYCC, on the other hand, is trying to 13
did it again.
Push into 9 again. GRO, this thing is not growing. It's just flowing down. Kappa, same thing, new lows. XAGE. If it doesn't recapture VWAP here, it's coming down to the 65 VMA. Looks like we're getting a rally here in the Qs. It looks like Trump is also posting.
That I don't see here. I was actually reading a headline here about the MP Apple stuff.
It's his regular attack of the Fed. He's
right. Well, we kind of, you know what? I'll tell you what. We actually anticipated that truth bomb today because we looked at the print and we said this isn't terrible, so we would kind of expect that. So I guess that doesn't really come as a surprise to me. I don't think it's going to matter, frankly, but.
Yeah, he's saying consumer prices low, bring down Fed rate now. Fed should cut rates by 3 points. Very low inflation. That'd be insane. We're not getting 3-point cuts, folks.
Indonesia trade deal looks like is also what's happening here.
Yep, just made to do with Indonesia. I dealt directly with their highly respected president. Details to follow.
Cool.
He really loves fluffing up those folks that do deals with him.
Yeah, we've got a deal, but the details another time. We'll see that another time. Okay.
Well, I think you're going to get your 10 print in CYCC. It's about to happen. We're 30 cents away. At least that's what the high in this current candle just indicated to us. And here we go. Almost had it there. Almost had it.
Just to be clear here, I'm not in this one. I am not trading this one.
Mark,
I do not.
Indonesia's a tremendous president. One of the best. Great guy.
Yeah, I've kind of wanted to start adding thank you for your attention to this matter ! To all of my emails at work, but I figure I'm just going to annoy somebody, so I have opted not to do that, but we might still do that. We'll see.
Investors Arena, great question. I saw this come across the news feed in Benzinga Pro as I was looking at the S&P 500. I'm sorry, the SPY. It just has a whole news feed. Being that this is a broader market ETF, it gives me all different kinds of geopolitical headlines. And anytime that Trump posts on X, we get that in our newsfeed as well.
Here we go. Here is a visual representation of that. The tool that you see us streaming here all day, every day is in fact Benzinga Pro. I know we leave it on the window that has the chart and the scanner and the unusual options and the signals and the whole 9 yards, but you can actually create a bunch of different workspaces to do that. The one that 13 is referencing is one that carries all of the big news. This also incorporated the CPI prints that we had here today. Fed notes, Fed Bowman urges banks to do more to improve credit access. Yesterday, we got a note from Hammock about not really wanting to cut or not being at the spot to cut rates. So all of that big news that's going to affect things here, whether they're from the president, the Fed, or an actual data print itself, will all come up in this news feed. This is a pretty quick way for us to do that, or for us to observe all of that.
Congratulations on CYCC, folks. If you were trading it, you got your $10 print, $9.99 to be exact, but I still think you got it one way or the other. Congratulations. Great trade.
Also, really quick tip here for those of you that feel off put by either joining Truth Social or you have some type of TDS and you just don't want to follow Trump for any reason, this is actually a really good workaround for you, because not only do you not have to follow him, but you'll still be able to get access to all of that information in real time. We obviously will find anything that could potentially move the market. We'll often post under that.
It might not be, Benzinga Pro might not be Instagram, but it still has filters.
That is magnificent. That is absolutely magnificent. Well done.
XAGE down to 6 and more. Man, this was it. I think there might be a bounce here at 6. I don't think we're going back to the highs we made this session. I think that what this stock does that we've seen in the past, it's doing now. I think this might be done. There might be some bounce trades in XAGE, as it continues to go lower. But I don't think we want to take a trade in this one anymore. Not today, anyway.
Seeing a whole bunch of Palantir calls.
CYCC is giving more. It's much further into the 10 handle now. 1045 the high. Folks, I don't want to tell you how to trade this, but this is where, if you decide you're going to stay in this, that's where you're going into greed mode. Just so you know.
Yeah, Zage, that is one of our low floaters here. Indeed, want to be careful. Palantir, by the way, printed 150s. Look at this chart here. More new all-time highs for Palantir. This is the leader in Park. Look, man, I don't make the rules, right? I don't make the rules. I just play by them.
All right, looking for something here that is setting up. I mean, these movers from this morning have been garbage.
Did anyone take the USAR trade from the single digits when that first came on the board? Nice little move here in USAR. Yep. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we have a 16 test coming here pretty soon.
Daniel, you're okay. He's looking for 1140 for CYCC next, then me, then 20.
Anthony is asking, should I be a Palantir bear? Well, I don't think so. I like you, and I don't want you to get carried out in a body bag. So I would say, no, you probably should not do that. If you are going to be a bear, I would be very tactical and use options so that your risk can be well defined.
Kappa going through its 65 EMA. XAGE got a bounce off of its 65, but this volume is just so awful that I don't have any confidence that it's going to recapture VWAP.
MP, just more new highs here today. What a move here in MP. Boy, tell you what,
new all-time highs.
Yeah, actually. This is definitely we even talked about this one, and I just could not bring myself to buy it, and I'm being punished. I deserve it, but I'm being punished.
Well, if you take the peaks from 2021 and 2022 and draw a trend line, you've got an idea of where this goes. 80 to 90.
Okay. I'm certainly not going to chase it here. Palantir options skew is only modestly bullish here. No extremes to fade yet. Okay, good. So it's not the time then to try and get a regression back to the mean on Palantir.
CYCC.
So you basically, really quickly, you basically wait for the skew to show you that as opposed to a specific price level. That's good to know.
CYCC halted the upside again, 1124 now the high. Kappa getting trying to turn around here after testing the 65 EMA. And
ENVX, this had a nice little move out of the gate. Someone asked about this, I think, the other day when it was several points lower here. Novix, nice move. CELU. Did you mean CLEU? That's Clue, the China education? No, maybe you were right the first time. I should not have doubted you. That was
Cellularity.
No, I don't think it. Yeah, Cellularity. Yep.
This one is only moved about 5% today, but that short interest is correct, that's interesting.
Well, that's the thing. Mayhem saying a squeeze may be in the making here. 33.42% of the float shorted there with 19 days to cover. And if you take a look at the chart and what happened here, or this already had a huge move here.
Oh,
that does look like a squeezy move. Got sold into immediately.
Is this a NASDAQ recompliance play as well? Let me know if you could. They received a letter regarding their 10Q. Just was wondering if that was the case or not. Yes, that is the case. 60 calendar days submitted recompliance. Grant the company exception. Okay, so they've got until if this is accepted, it looks like they have. Oh, this is back from May. Okay, so I don't know. This might be already have taken place, and then they have until November 17th to get back into recompliance. So it's recompliance play as well. So
and Mayhem is really referring to what we look at when we break down these movers a lot. Mm-hmm. Session volume here today, 6.6 million. That's versus an average of under 100,000. So this is, again, one of those that's normally a ghost town when nothing's going on. For whatever reason today, we've got a whole bunch more action in there.
But a lot of that was all in the morning, very, very pre-market, basically, because it hasn't done diddly, really, in the regular session. Diddly. That's an operative word.
Actually, that is used in Die Hard too. He hasn't seen diddly squat from anyone down here, so
yeah,
not bad.
Hey, 250 is actually a pretty interesting spot. Now that I look at the chart, draw a line at 250. I think you'll see what I'm talking about with CELU. That is, we need to see multiple closes above this. One pop ain't going to be enough, but it is getting close to a golden cross.
Okay.
CRML wants 4, says Market Sniper.
Interestingly enough, just saw ENVX puts. So this is up by about 7.5% today. Looks like they're buying puts into this move higher.
Looks like XAGE is still trying to get back up to its VWAP. Kappa did get a bounce off at 65 EMA, but doesn't seem like it has the volume to go back up much further. GRO is not doing that. Kind of sideways now after losing $2. And I don't know how much time is left in CYCC's halt, but we should see some more movement out of that halt once it's done.
Anthony here, 0 is definitely a support line at Mullen. Yep. Yep. Should find some support down there at 0. Poly Ryzen, that penny stock that tried to graduate to dollar territory, might have a curl through the VWAP towards the intraday highs here at 133. That's definitely something that I would pass on here today.
Oh, Jay, did it use
Home Depot, dude? Damn.
What's going on?
Home Depot is it's crappy. I sold partial, and I should have sold all because this thing is coming back in now. Still has, in fact, let me check the seasonality here on Home Depot. We're still good. Yep. God, here, this is what I'm looking at. So July 9th to August 15th, Home Depot traditionally in a pretty good spot here for seasonality.
Well, you guys nailed it. Well, Jay Wild, you nailed it. There it is. 1150 and more shot up to 1287, and it's going to halt again. I don't want to tell anybody what to do with this. Home Depot, this might have a date with 345.
Yep. That's going to suck.
This is kind of trading down into a descending triangle. Now we do have the Liberation Day unwind that led to prints beneath 345, but 345 was otherwise a support area from March to June.
Looking at the 390 calls there for August, we sold half of that at like 360. 360 calls back in here at about $1.50. I'm not going to let that one fall out like I did with the trade desk. I don't think I'm going to get lucky twice on the same thing there. So we'll throw a stop out there for Home Depot. Free some of that up, not let that go to zero.
Izzy's saying UNH breaking down. Certainly looks like it's making some new lows for the session. And I need to see that breakdown beneath 290, and we're not too far away. If we lose 290, I think we're going to end up seeing some of those levels from May again. Like 270, 250 could be. That's what I would think. Once in a lifetime president, HD founder said. Well, I think that's accurate.
The HD president? President of Home Depot?
No. Once in a life. Well, okay, so Farad, is he talking about Trump or the president of HD?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not really sure how to necessarily read that through. This certainly doesn't help Home Depot's price action. Now, Home Depot definitely being hurt by the Dow performance today and recently. Dow has not been one of the outperformers. We're seeing more of that weakness here today. But at least we're able to lighten some of those swings here today.
Yeah, and
It's kind of disappointing today.
We are at that doorstep of the 10:30 time where we start to see volume leave the market. Certainly looks like that's already begun. Yeah, UNH doesn't look great to me. I still think it goes lower. Let's see here. What else is making some moves today? Anything looking good to anybody right now? I'm just cycling through some of the names I got here.
Thank you. TTB says, the morning, the HD founder spoke about Trump on CNBC and called him a once-in-a-lifetime president. Maybe that's why it's selling off.
I agree with his statement.
So do I.
He's definitely a unique character.
Yes, he is.
All right, so SBET popped up to 2709. Not as high as the high from yesterday before we got a pull, but it is still trying to push up here.
One more thing here. Possible trade idea. One of the things we've been waiting out here is Costco. This is actually something that we've discussed quite a bit in the happy hour session. Really kind of looking to see what Costco does here at its 200-day. It's pretty much just been sideways recently. We're 6 points away from the 200-day. In an ideal situation here, we would actually lose the 200-day and recapture it. If we zoom out here, you can see the last time that it did this, the last two times that it did this, it went huge. Time before that, it went again, and it actually lasted like that for several years. So this 200-day test here, possible add spot. I'd like to see how it does. I would like to see how it does here if it does come down and test that spot. Also, if we look, let's go to today. If we look at, let me share this here. If we look at the seasonality here, we are actually in pretty good seasonality for Costco. I would actually think that we could probably extend this out, maybe even to November. A little bit of a flat area in here. Nonetheless, Costco looks pretty good. If it can hold that 200-day or dip beneath and recapture it, I think Costco might be a swing long opportunity here. We're pretty much right there. 964.5, your level there on Costco. Still keeping an eye on that one.
Yeah, it certainly is, Jonathan. And I don't know when this ends, but it's going to end at some point soon because this is very extended. As soon as you start to see this, begin to sell, I think you might get a party train on that selling, and it'll take it lower. This is just very extended right now, but it doesn't mean it couldn't go higher.
How did JPM and Wells Fargo do now that we're a little bit through the morning here?
Tell me if you heard this before. CYCC has halted the upside again.
Yeah, I've actually heard that 8 times today because it's had 8 halts today.
Yep. 1485 is now the high.
So JP Morgan, this is actually lower by 0.5%. How did Wells Fargo much weaker? Oh gosh, Wells Fargo took another leg down here. Wonder what the spot is on Wells Fargo. I'm thinking maybe 76. 76.5, another 3 points from where we're at.
Well done, Trout Bum. Killing it.
Trout Bum has the luck of Door County, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that somebody else? You'll have to let me know.
Looks like SBET is trying to make another run for 27. What are you thinking?
I'm sorry. I'm reading through the Wells Fargo EPS here. This was a beat. Looks like the guidance was poor. Yeah, it lowered its guide, and that's why we're getting sacked here. Wells Fargo.
You know what, Smoke Tuna? I think you're right. I think that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. We've already moved through one of them. That was the 65 EMA on the daily. That was 1221. Next crazy level. Hey, it's one of the ones that you guys had mentioned earlier. Looks like 2020 is going to be the next one for me for CYCC. So $20.20. That could be another crazy level. And then if we don't stop the craziness there, maybe it stops around 27.50.
Jonathan bringing up a really good point here. The volume's drying up. This is going to knife hard in a moment.
Yeah. And there you go. Yeah, Smoke Tuna, you're mentioning it had a $20 gap there. So yeah, it could go to 20. But I would say just have your stops ready with this, you know.
Ryan with a rather amusing comment here today. Mullen accepts payments for its non-existent vehicles and crypto. Oh, man. Sometimes the jokes write themselves. Tesla, by the way, 316 lows.
And what else is making moves? Looks like Redwire is sold off after reaching 1825 out of the gate here. Now it's coming right back up to that level. XAGE, another test of that 65 EMA. Looks like it's trying to curl. I'm not saying this is coming back, but it's certainly making an effort to after hitting some of these pre-market levels and the 65. So still need to see a recapture of VWAP that's going to continue to trade back up and make some new highs. That value is at 670. So look for a recapture of that. What about biotechs in space? SpaceX plans Starship program for in-orbit drug research. You know what company does a lot of that? Redwire.
RD Dubs.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. I know there's another one. Let me see if I can figure out which one it is because I can't remember everything that all these different space names do.
Wasn't there one that was doing like a biolab? No, that's the Star Lab is Voyager. I know what you're talking about. There was another one of these smaller names that was doing that. You got more notes than I do on those. Yeah, VHV, appreciate you. If you find the stream useful, please hit the like. With the easiest way to support what we're doing here, everything's free. Easiest way to support us is just hit that like button.
Yeah, it was Redwire.
Exploit that algorithm.
It was Redwire. They have platforms and facilities for conducting research and manufacturing in microgravity, such as the biofabrication facility, BFF, and also pharmaceutical and space laboratory, the Pillbox. That's what I was looking for, was the Pillbox, and it was Redwire that does that. So they are engaged in space pharmaceuticals.
Space pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm. Hey, no problem. It's, fantastic stuff on all of those space names, but mostly around satellites, a lot of these names.
Market here, just kind of check in here. Everything at the lows with the exception of NASDAQ. Nasdaq slightly above the day low here, but S&P new lows, Dow new lows.
CYCC open into the
This is
15
what we've
handle
been waiting
now.
for. See if we
Yep.
turn around here after this halt.
Maybe after it hits 20. At this rate, I have to think it's going to go to 20 because
I was going to say no chill so far.
Yeah, it just blasted through all these other levels.
Jesus.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about the ugliness.
Go halt right here at 1650 if this holds.
Yep. Looks like getting some multiple names to move off these highs. Some of them, not all of them. We're getting, yields pushing higher. CRDO above $100. What a ride. Excellent job, Arista stocks, if that's what you're riding. METC breakout. Let's see what that's about. Okay. Looks like the breakout occurred early
On which one? STZ?
METC.
METC, sorry.
No worries. It looks like the breakout occurred when we took out the pre-market highs around 2075. Now at knocking on the door of 22. Nice job.
MP continuing to move higher here. Test saying no resistance over 60. Indeed, that is our blue sky breakout test. Yep. I can't chase the move here.
I wouldn't.
Yep. We had talked about this one in a 20 handle, guys. 20s. Florida Yacht Insurance guy says late signing on today. That must mean you were either on and or selling a yacht. So that's not a big deal. Sassy Butterfly Chick wants to know if we can talk about why Pfizer is dropping. See if there's any news here. I mean, I could make a joke, but I don't think that's what you're looking for. I don't see any news here today. We have any news yesterday?
It's probably dropping in sympathy with United Health. That's going to be the earliest thing that comes to mind. It's probably not the exact reason, but when you have healthcare stocks and being part of a similar sector, I think, and I know that healthcare stocks like United Health is more on the insurance side, and this is more the pharmaceutical side. Still think that it's getting a little bit of a pull as a result of that. Also, we did try to close over the 200-day SMA, could not do that. So seeing some selling rejection here too as well. Might get some support around 24.77 where the 20-day SMA is.
Because Pfizer is a tragically mismanaged shitco disguised as a pharmaceutical company. XD indeed, Markets and Mayhem. That one is pretty funny. I'm with you on that.
So that reason, and then maybe what I said.
SML here says the entire healthcare sector is under pressure.
Yeah, it's being investigated.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
All that free money is about to go bye-bye.
USAR here. I know we talked a lot about MP. USAR here. This is going to be one of the smaller sympathy plays with it. This thing has been an absolute monster recently. This was $10 just a couple of days ago. Here we are, 50% higher at about 15. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. And that's because I didn't try to short CYCC, to be quite that would have made this a really terrible day. Looks like
it'll be a good short at some point, but not right now.
Rag SHO now. So squeeze me home, CYCC.
I bet we could get AI to write a song about Squeeze Me Home.
I'm not going to do that. Jay Rice here saying, don't be a hero chasing strength. Indeed, Jay. And that's one of the big things. Like, I'm sitting here, like, I'm glad that we're able to clean up some of my own swings. That's awesome. We'll take that. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, now that we've cleaned some of that up, we're going to deploy some more capital, right? Want to be tactical about that. I feel like I'm chasing almost every move. Even some of these movers that we found today, I'm late to them, it feels like. The CYCC call earlier, just as this thing was crossing the VWAP, that was the spot. That was 10 points ago at this point. Good Lord.
Yeah, this thing's a 4X already.
CELU, we talked about this potential setup here.
Getting a move back over 3 with you, Amy. That was that had dropped below it up until we got this more rare earth news. Now it's starting to move back up and recaptured 3. Looking to see if SBET's going to do SBET things. Is this going to go higher or is this done? I think I keep seeing folks mention 30 with this one. Looks like FTFT that fell beneath VWAP, not able to go back above it. GRO looks like it's trying to turn around. Got a bit of a rounding bottom here. Needs to recapture the 200 EMA at 202. $2 is pretty much a resistance area all on its own, with the psych level being that it is. Volume's not great, so I don't know if that's going to happen. Kappa also trying to turn around. XAGE, this just lost the 65 EMA. I think this stock's history told its tale. Got the higher open, popped up to a new higher print, sell off the rest of the day. It looks like that's the case here with this one.
SML advisory here saying, is Lilly a good short here? So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, it isn't. It looks like it's just trading sideways here. It actually looks like we're compressing between 2 moving averages here. And unless I have some idea of a negative catalyst that's coming here, I think the positive catalyst that we're going to see from some of the weight loss drugs, which has really kind of driven Lilly to what it's to where it's at now, I think that outweighs the possible negative here. Now, let's see what happens when it gets down to the 500-day moving average. This purple line, which represents the 500-day moving average, it's held it the last 3 times that we've tested it. So we'll see on that. The last couple of times we traded above the 200, we didn't stay above it for long. I'm not sure what direction we go here on Lilly, to be quite honest with you. This kind of looks like it's in no man's land. We're right above the 50-day moving average. We're no man's land in RSI, no man's land Williams %R. It seems dull here, and I'm leery or weary shorting a dull name when nothing's going on here. I think the possibility for a positive catalyst that drives the stack higher is strong. I'm not sure that we roll over and break the 750 500-day moving average. I'd be willing to listen to the thesis on there. I don't know what it is, though.
Yeah, I think your 750 is going to be support. I'm looking at a monthly chart with this one now, and ever since it lost the 20-month SMA in May, the June and this month, it's been trying to recapture it.
There you go.
I'd need to see a recapture of that 20-month SMA in order to feel confident about this going higher. It's great that the 770 is holding up. That's another level I have. But 750 looks like that's going to be kind of the line in the sand here. And it needs to get back above that 20-day SMA if we're going to see more upside. That's what I'd be looking at.
So here you go. SML, I think this monthly candle, that's a good one, 13. I like that. I think this monthly candle might determine.
Yeah.
Does look like we ran up to some pretty significant resistance up here at 973.5. We do have a lower high from the move down there. But I wouldn't be ready to initiate a new short position unless it looks like it's really going to break this 500. And I'm just not sure I'm there yet.
Well, MET-C, this was getting mentioned earlier. It's making another new high up to 22 now.
What is this, Ramaco? What does this do? United States-based company that operates as a pure play metallurgical coal company, which operates in southern West Virginia.
Look at the move this has had over the past week, the past 5 trading days. Just, from about 1250, kind of holding the 500-day SMA, and then it's been gapping up. A little bit extended here too. I wonder if there is a remediation angle to this.
Yeah, me too. Or if they do it themselves.
Because I've been seeing a lot of companies and websites talking about getting rare earths from coal ash, like coal fly ash. We know about that already because we talked
I
about
know,
it.
and we were so early. We had the play for that.
Way too early. But
we had it, and we had fraud.
Now that Trump is talking about rare earths and this whole ordeal with China having a stranglehold on a bit of the refining and the supply chains, going to look for alternative sources, and coal fly ash seems like a pretty decent ESG play. Brook Mine P. Okay, so this has they were releasing mining summaries with this one. I'd have to look more into METC, but interesting. Also has some short interest here, 18.25% with about 3 days to cover. It used to be higher with days to cover. Interesting.
Thank you, Jay, for sending the thesis over on Open, by the way. I can actually give that to the group here. Let me do that real quick. This just comes from X, but this looks like a pretty well thought out thread.
Mob, are you saying rare earths for METC?
Yes.
Excellent.
What's up, E-Rock? Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Hey, guess what? Tell us. Oh, CYCC is open. What's it doing now?
If he says chicken butt, I might time him out.
Ooh, CYCC. Here we go. It has begun. All right, what's next here?
Oh, he said, guess what? CYCC halted. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So opened up, halted to the downside.
Yep.
Ahmed wants to take a look at Sunrun. That's interesting because several of the other solar names, Solar Edge, I think it was Enphase, downgraded here today. Here's your Sunrun chart. This actually higher here by 8.75%. It's got an upgrade here at JP Morgan, or a price target upgrade, sorry. Price target move here on JP Morgan, 13 to 16. Someone would have to tell me what the thesis is here for solar. I guess I'm not there yet. Maybe when we start getting a rate cutting cycle, that should do well for solar.
JP Morgan thinks it's a buy.
I don't think they're alone in that either. Let's see. Okay, Mizuho has an outperform on it. Wells Fargo has an overweight on it.
There's a mix.
RBC and UBS also have a outperform and a buy rating, respectively. I don't love the solar plays at all.
No. RBC is a sector perform. They downgraded. That was the prior rating.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Sorry, I just got lost in the rows here.
No
good
worries.
Catch.
Yeah, there's
James saying that these are good solar installers.
Yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of mixed opinions on this.
Yeah, I don't know what the bullish thesis on solar is right now. Again, willing to listen. Don't have one myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't love it.
All right. ANPA is halted up as well, says E-Rock. Seems like options, not options themselves, but just opportunities are drying up. What's Rocket doing today? Is not getting hit? Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yep, getting hit pretty uglily.
I love this idea. I'm just really starting to worry about the performance of this company.
Hood is trying to defend $100, but this looks like it's trying to go lower as well. I'm getting a pull in the market.
Yeah, SPY's at the lows here. So is NASDAQ, and so is Dow's. So is the Dow. So Izzy, by the way, you had that market pull call early today.
Take care, Kevin. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care of yourself, Kev.
United Health low of the day, so that's just continuing to grind lower.
That's hitting the Dow, I'm sure.
Let's see how much lower we're going. Oh yeah, we lost that that support area. So next one's going to be down around 2. So we're still looking for 290. So looking for 290. SPEC doesn't look like it's headed to 30 at the moment.
I'm seeing several folks, maybe not pump, but mention LRHC as a sympathy play to CYCC. Company launched its AI-powered communication bot to enhance agent recruiting and support operations. I don't know how much I believe all of this, but anyway, this is getting floated there on X.
Judge, that's a little bit of the point with these halts. It's more to manage the volatility, but yeah, they absolutely do kill that momentum. Jay Wild is saying that CYCC showing 1250 open in 5 minutes. Oh, NAC had a nasty pull as well. And through these movers again, looks like XAGE still under 6. Kappa coming down to the 65 EMA again. Grow is not growing.
Google's still doing okay. How did the trade desk finish up here? That kept leaking a little bit. Okay, so we made the right call on the trade desk. That's good.
Take care, Rooster.
Take care of yourself, Rooster. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it really looks like UNH is just going to beeline right for 290.
Mayhem saying that it looks like the sell-off here is accelerating. Where's the bottom on that? 624. We're approaching that right now. Maybe that's our bottom. Definitely careful with longs, though. You're right about that.
I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we went all the way down to 620 and kind of ended up with an engulfing bearish candle today.
Now, those were the lows. Those were the pre-market or overnight lows from the weekend or the Monday morning, I guess. That's 620 area.
Yeah, and we also have a previous all-time high at 620 and 49 cents that I have marked off here too. So I think we'd come down and get some support from that before hitting 620 exactly.
It just feels like everything is just like we got the CPI, we got the open, and everyone's like, it's the summer. I'm going to go golf. I'm out of here. Actually, doesn't sound half bad.
I was just going to say, is that what you're going to end up doing?
No, I mean, I got stuff to do, unfortunately. If I didn't, yeah, maybe I would do that. But the more I think about it, the more I want to do that.
Yeah, lots of things selling here. It looks like METC is still getting support from 2150 though, for the time being anyway. Yes, Joseph Schmel was saying
Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin absolutely rocked. 119 was your morning high. That thing is straight down. 116 now. Bitcoin could actually go for a bit of a pullback. That wouldn't be so bad. But that might be kind of contributing to the move down here in the market.
Risk off. Yeah.
Yep.
112 could be a support area for Bitcoin.
Izzy here saying that his son has a triple header baseball game here today. What the hell are you doing in front of the computer?
Financing
3 baseball games? You got to go support the team.
Yeah, I guess he's just financing it, and then he's going to go watch it.
He's financing the baseball tournament. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, gosh, I thought you said something else. PLRZ hacked to the downside. Do we think it'll reach 65 EMA? So when you said hacked, I was like, oh, wow, that's going to get hammered. I had to finish reading the whole thing. Let me take a look at PLRZ. And then I think we got to get going.
That's that Poly Rise penny stock that graduated to dollar territory. Yeah, and then we should probably wrap up here. Folks, remember, we do have Anne-Marie coming next. So if there's if there are any stocks that you want to look at for a potential options trade as we accelerate to the downside here at 624, throw those tickers in the chat here. She might have stuff prepared, but I didn't give her anything yet today, so we'll find out.
So PLRZ, it looks like you could do a trend line with this one that we've been kind of riding up. We break this trend line. I think that 65 EMA is certainly possible. I think you're going to get some support around 97 cents before you hit that 65 EMA. But at the same time, the 65 EMA is kind of rising up right now towards the price. So I would say that if you're looking for a 65 EMA, you have support at $1 and looks like 97 cents before you're going to get to that 65 EMA.
Okay, 13, we may actually be an extra minute here. I think Anne-Marie is going to restart. So all of that. Mark saying TLT would be good to look at. Okay, I like it. I'll add that here to the list. TLT.
And oh yeah, so this is the Treasury bond. The 20 years is tanking.
Yep.
I have a trend line on this one too for some reason. I'd say that if this loses 83, it's probably gonna. I mean, I'm looking at this chart only. If it loses 83, it looks like it could go down to, gosh, what, 75 maybe? That's just based on what the chart is telling me. UNH, look at CNC. All you need to know, falling knife. Oh yeah, UNH. That is definitely a falling knife.
And we talked about that one. You don't know where the bottom is. I know it seems like it's moved really far, really quickly to the downside, but you don't know where the bottom is.
And I'll tell you this if you try to catch this falling knife, you could get cut, and United Health will not insure you.
You better have chainmail.
Yeah.
You have chainmail gloves for that. I've played Diablo. I know how those work.
PLRZ opened lower, trying to recapture the trend line that I was just mentioning. That's up near VWAP. And if you can't get this support here from $1, I think you're going to get your 65 EMA print. Sorry, I forgot who I was mentioning for PLRZ. Tyler. There you go, Tyler. Trying to recapture that trend line up at around 110. Can't do it. Probably goes under $1. Kappa MACD on the 5-minute looking good. Are these movers finally coming back? Are they finally doing something? Maybe not X age. I think I still maintain that one's probably done for today.
It actually wouldn't even surprise me if after the show things started to turn back up.
Yeah, right. Because how many times has that happened?
A lot.
That's what I'm saying.
The afternoons have looked vastly different from the morning. Wouldn't be shocked to see that again.
Market's like, okay, these jerks are off the air. Now I can do all the moves I wanted to do. Kappa coming up to VWAP. 136 going to be the value there. So I can see that we have some sellers in the way on the way up to the VWAP. So needs more volume to get up and through VWAP, but that certainly looks like it's curling up. 20-minute halt for CYCC now. What's is it still the same halt?
Okay. All right. Anne-Marie is no longer frozen, so we're in good shape. 13, any closing words here for the group?
Well, folks, it wasn't the greatest of days. We did get some interesting price action on a couple of names, particularly CYCC. Let's come back tomorrow. We'll have a nice fresh set of stocks to trade and look at, and we'll do this whole thing over again and have another great day. Does that sound good? Fresh
data print to wait for with the PPI.
And if that sounds good to you, I will see you then. Enjoy the next show with Anne-Marie. She's going to show you some option stuff. Take care, folks. I'll see you then.
All right, 13, really, really good stuff here. 13's departure leaves room for Anne-Marie. Forgot a dad joke there. We'll do it on Friday. I'll come up with something there for Friday. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
Much better now that I got the hair from behind my contact lens.
I was going to say, it looks like something got in your eye there. glad you're okay. Multitasking here, though. Okay. So if you want to share your charts, hopefully it works here. Did you have anything lined up for today, or should I grab some tickers here from the chat?
How about we do both? We grab some tickers and then we'll see what's going on. I did talk about MP yesterday actually it was, what is today? Tuesday?
Today
It was
is Tuesday.
Friday. We were talking about MP on the Benzinga Pro channel for those of you that were there, and I want to show you what we did, or maybe you and I talked about it as well. I can't remember, but we were talking about upward flow and the potential for price action to give us a big drift to the upside over the long haul. And so I said, hey, if you want to get put to the stock, you can sell the 30s at 70 cents. Those are now 15. So we got a brand new set to look at.
Mhm.
I said, hey, try to sell the 40s at $4. Those are now $1.05. And I said, hey, if you want to buy a vertical way out into the future for upside pressure event, we did a Fibonacci at the 50-60 call. We bought it at 185. It's now worth $4. So really big wins there. And it is a little bit scary to chase that one because it is moving up. But I just had to plug my room there. So there you go.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
It was a very nice move upward and gave us some good exposure. The next time we really have an opportunity to look at this is in earnings on August 7th. We've got tariff deadlines then, got all kinds of stuff going on, and a lot of people thinking that the administration is going to back down off of that deadline date again. And we can see that because we really are not buying any premium from that space. So let's take a look at the market here today. This is unusual, right? Everything except tech is selling off. And it might be because of that NVIDIA news that said, hey, they're going to get to sell that chip in China again. And then, of course, that means, whatever. I listened to something, I think it might have been a commerce secretary or something like that. They said, well, we said no on those chips before. Yes, if you've been looking, those are exactly the same chips we said no on. Now we're saying yes on. And it's because we want to get this rare earths deal signed. And so a little bit of give and take. And, I don't know. I heard a great analogy about what if Trump were a basketball coach, would he be a Dean Smith or a Bobby Knight coach? And so everybody felt like he'd be a guy that throws chairs.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the easier questions that we've been posed here today. My money's on the Bobby Knight. By the way, though, really quick, just because I went to Indiana University, do you know that Bobby Knight had one of the best graduation rates ever in the history of Big Ten college basketball? I heard a story from from someone there that one of his kids skipped a class. He dragged him out of practice by his ear and said, you cannot practice unless you go to class. So for a lot of the bad things said about Bobby Knight, he actually did care about the kids and their education, just as an aside.
He did. And he won more NCAA titles, the NCAA titles than Dean Smith. So there you have it. In any case, that was quite non sequitur, but I feel like since you're a big sports guy, it was okay for me.
I also went to IU, so that's perfect.
There you go. Okay, so what can we look at? So we're in a little bit of a precarious space. We have August and September ahead, which tend to be a little squishy. We've got news ahead, a little bit squishy. And all of a sudden, we've got this great big run in tech because of that news. So are we in a space where we say, hey, listen, I'm going to try and take a trade for 4 or 5 days. We've got a very big OPEX on Friday. And so that's pretty important. And so the trades today, I think, are going to be a little bit on the expensive side because what we're trying to do is capture the quick move, and I don't want to go straight calls because those have not those never customarily work for me. Oh, I love John Wooden. Yes, absolutely incredible. Jay Rice. He's man, what a guy John Wooden was. Oh, I have his book. They Call Me Coach, sitting right up there. So, let's go. So, does anybody want to see? Let's talk about MP on Friday. See if it's had a pullback.
Okay.
See if we've got some rotation there. Um, and we'll be all good. So let's take a look at some bearish plays.
Okay. So
Uh,
someone was just asking about Lily. This is perfect.
all right, perfect. Okay, so
Perfect.
let's go to the charts and come on, chart guys. Little Fred Flintstone back there not doing his work. There we go. Okay, it should change over to Lily. There we go. So what's up with Lily? If we see this area, we've got earnings and a dividend on 8/7. Again, another tricky day. Another tricky day. 8/7 is going to be pretty big. But what we can see from a weekly perspective, the price action.
Uh-oh. You guys can still hear me, right? I'm still moving around. Darn it. There goes Anne-Marie. Or is this me? Can I get someone in the chat? Yes, it's okay. So it's Anne-Marie. All right. Okay. Thank you, folks. Sorry about that. We will hope that she can come back. Man, she left mid-sentence. I don't even know where she was going with that one. I don't even know where she was going with that. Okay. You're good, Ryan. It's Anne-Marie that's frozen. Oh,
I'm frozen again?
That was a minute
Am I
long.
frozen?
Oh gosh.
Glitch? I just lost the internet. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
No. Yeah, I could hear you fine through the whole thing. I
Oh
know.
gosh. Okay.
I got glitched on the
Your
other
screen
side. Yes.
froze, your video froze. We couldn't hear you at all. So yeah, we definitely got some internet. Whatever spot you're in has poor internet. It is
I
a
know.
cursed spot in your house, no
It
question.
is. Actually, I'm hardwired. This is a cursed
Then I
neighborhood
give
for the
up, Anne-Marie.
internet.
I have no effing
Yes.
idea what's wrong.
Yeah. It's just this area. The internet is just the worst. Okay. So $85 move. Someone in my house watching Netflix. No, I could tell you that. All right. So in any case, what we've got is an $85 move, just about, for earnings. And that gives us, what is that? 860 to 690. And so let's do that. Holy smokes. All right, come on. Good gravy. I have nothing else going here. This is so bizarre. Am I frozen again?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, good. All right, so let's do this. Actually, yep, let's go back here. And we have 890 as an upside event, right? So we want that to be the middle strike. We've got 13,000 in open interest here. So let's see 850 to 890. That's $40 to 930. All right, expensive on the upshot. You could choose a tighter spread, or go further down, but that's going to give us a range of potential upside if we're staring down the charts and comparing it with implied vol. So that's expensive. If I were a betting man, I would go on the put side of this, and I would say the 700s, there's 1900 there already, and 700 to 680 up, and I took 670. Good golly. All right, let's make that 680. To 660. That one, oh, sorry. That one's $1.38. So what's the better bet here? I think the put side is the better bet into the 15th of August. If you're trading seasonality, if you feel like, hey, people have got to buy Lilly for XYZ, the vol is telling us that 850 is the likely target. You could make that spread a little bit tighter, which could help actually. So let's make that spread 20 wide, just like the call side. I mean, just like the put side.
Okay.
And if you wanted to use, oh, isn't that, yeah, that would use a lot of premium. And that would be $1.10, right? You could take both sides of that if you were so inclined. My bet would be trying to get the cheap put side. Right now it's down at 88 cents. There's a fair bit of volume there, so you very likely could get filled. But if we work the combination of seasonality, they're getting put under the microscope, this might be a very nice trade to the downside. One way, and choose that.
Okay, the interesting thing is that the question earlier about this is whether or not this would make a good short. My answer was no, because I don't know what the catalyst is, and I wouldn't short a stock like Lilly in a sideways dull period. Buying puts obviously changes the calculus there quite a bit, as you're able to define your risk ahead of time. So it seems then, and I actually hadn't even checked the seasonality. Seasonality into mid-August does look kind of poor here for Lilly, so maybe that does line up. There you go, though. I think that was, I can't remember who was asking about that earlier. Good stuff there, Anne-Marie, on that trade breakdown. Let me see if I can find that person's name. SML Advisory. You were looking for, no, that's
SNL Advisory?
SML.
Oh,
I don't know what it stands for or what it means, but he was asking about a potential Lilly short there. There's a good way to play both sides of it, and it looks like the put one was more affordable.
Yeah, the put side butterfly, it really comes right into the edge of the range, uses the real buy zones, and gives you a little bit of time to get in front of this in terms of where price action might be going. So that looks like a pretty good one. Let's go back to the Market Watch and see what else that we can stare down.
I have a suggestion that came from the chat if we're ready for that. Can we do the TLT? Mark was asking about the TLT earlier.
So this is very interesting. And the reason that I'm humming and hawing here is because there's a fight among the bond vigilantes, as it were. I don't want to go into the ifs, ands, or buts about that. But what we could see is a potential bottoming event, right? Remember, bonds down, yields up. the thought here in the press down is higher for longer, except we've got the Fed chair constantly being asked to lower rates.
Mhm.
We have all these new tariff things going on. The Fed's not moving. He gets replaced in May of next year. This thing could just continue to fade lower. Here's what we've got. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Yeah. So we've got an event that potentially says these could head a fair bit lower before they bounce. So notice the absolute low is 80. Absolute low. We're at 85. So at some juncture there should be some kind of reflexive move, because I can't imagine that our bonds this TLT goes lower than 80, because we were sitting at negative interest rates here, right? For this bounce. And so the question then becomes, how long do you want to hold this trade? And so if the mindset in the future is, wait a second, things are going to get bullish in the bond market, but it could be in the future. It might be a trade that you want to have work for you into when, Powell retires. So how does that look? And where could it go? So if we stare down and we look at this, 100 to 117 to, I don't know, right? We could head back up here to 128. I have no idea what the bond vigilantes are going to do, but I will say if it starts running, it's going to run hot. And so this area, let's see where the traders are setting up. 90 to 100. This puts you way out into the future. It gives you $1,000 of upside with $180 of exposure. Leave it in the account, let it sit there. If you want to add to it as the TLT comes into 80, you can, but a lot of people are going to start buying here. This is my thought. It's so low that they are going to try and force price into that range. So we had I don't know how that got to 82, but we did have the 80 sitting here. We talked about this a long while back into March. If you could do that. Now, if you're saying to yourself, hey, I want to buy the ETF and then just hang on to it, you can also do that. And that's not a bad idea. You just want to do a covered call there, right?
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I was just going to say the actual trade here happened all the way back in April, where you and I did a webinar together with Tim. And I said, guys, I really think that I understand why you want to trade TLT to the upside, but I really think the way to do this here is to add it in an 86 handle and then sell covered calls against your position to lower your cost basis.
100%.
And guess what? Guess where we're at now?
Yes,
is absolutely
exactly.
the trade that you should have taken. You could have done that every month on those calls, and you'd probably have an $80 cost basis by now.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can do is think to yourself, hey, listen, I'm going to buy this, and as it slips, I'm just going to go. The vol is not high. And if you don't want to nurse your trade, it might be good to just go to the September expiry, which is the next big vol event we have on the horizon. and just, sell yourself. So no, I wouldn't even go there. You know what? If this is a long-term trade, let the long-term action work for you. Send it into March and sell yourself something that is going to matter, that's going to actually lower your cost basis from that perspective. And I would say anywhere from, you could start with 90 and just start rolling it up. That's what I would do
Okay.
if I were the person here making the space. But because I am relatively conservative about these things, I would rather leave that call event sitting right there and then say, let's see how it goes. If I have to roll it down because it's blasting through 100, easy breezy lemon squeezy. You just move all the way forward and you are in great shape. So
Okay, and this is
that's
good.
really it.
Matt here said, thanks, Ryan and Anne Marie. I was thinking about buying TLT and also selling calls against it. That to me looks like the play, and it has been the play. And worst case scenario, you're selling upside calls, your stock gets called away at a gain from where you bought it. So
Exactly. And you're going to make a tidy gain here. You're going to make
yeah,
more than $7, right? Which is almost 10%. And that's great if you're working in a bond space. Okay, so absolutely fantastic. Lastly, if you don't want to buy it and you say, hey, I don't know why my call spread all the way down in May disappeared, but if you are looking to say, hey, just give it to me when it comes into 80. I'll take it if it comes into 80. And you just wait it out into that space, you're going to be in really great shape. Man, Thinkorswim is being so sassy today.
we got to check some of your memory settings off stream here. That's
I have
there's
it
something
set
wrong.
as,
There's
yeah, I
something
know.
wrong. This is not set up correctly.
Yeah.
There's Thinkorswim. The thing about those memory settings, and this is actually a good tip for anyone else out there that uses Thinkorswim, you can manually adjust how much system memory you allocate to this program.
Yeah.
The problem is if you allocate too much because you just think more is better here, it will literally bog your system down. And if you don't allocate enough, if you don't allocate it, yep. If you don't allocate enough, it's not going to be able to process some of this. There's got to be something going on because this seems to only happen when you're also streaming. So you're also using other system resources in order to try to process this. So,
yeah. You know what? That's why I tell everybody you're a really smart guy.
well,
Because
that's,
you're always coming up with these things
broken
that
clock
make
is
me
right
know.
twice a day.
Aha. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking there. And again, you want to do that 90 to 100 call spread if you're just staring down the flat calls, right? You could do it unlimited, but I got to tell you, I have got such a mad aversion to just buying long calls or puts. They just make me crazy. So there's the spread. Looks really good. Um, I like it.
Okay. We got 3 minutes left here. Do you have another one that you want to take a look at real quick?
I don't. I feel very um I'm very concerned about the current price action only because there's this fever pitch that's coming into the market. And so I would say, look for the folks that are just blistering a path to the north if you're thinking about anything, and buy yourself an in the money call spread into expiration and then be done with it, because these charts are just exploding to the upside and continue just rocketing higher. Now, this is a 300% retracement event. I think people are going to be taking some profit here in NVIDIA,
Okay.
but you know,
So interestingly enough about that this morning, I saw a whole bunch of flow for near-term short trades on NVIDIA that expired this week and next, and they were right around the 172.5 strike.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
your chart is basically saying that that's where the stopping point is.
yep, yep. It sure does look like that. Absolutely. And again, you got 3 days. If you go, yeah, it's going to punch up into expiry, then absolutely you can go down there and say, hey, well, the 175 is only $1. But for me, that's throwing good money after bad. I just, unless you're doing it with a spread and you're saying, all right, I'm going to bound myself to risk. The put side event, whoa, did you see that?
Nope. Sorry.
140,000 at 170 today. That's today.
Yeah. And 43 for the 172.5. Those were the two strikes that I saw. And this is the one that expires this week, right? Yep. Those were the two strikes that were very, very active on the put side here with the unusual options.
All right. So if we went down so we could get a little bit more, 22,000 for next week, you literally could do the 170, 165s.
Okay.
Expensive, but it's not a bad. You could 2x your money.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll check back in on Friday. We'll see if we get any other setups that look pretty good for us, and we'll see if maybe the market shows its hand a little bit more. Kind of blah here today. At least that's what it felt like to me, anyway. So,
and I am not in a room with fog, folks. I have no idea what's going on.
It's okay. We'll get this tech issue solved. You still managed to get it done here, Anne-Marie. We can't thank you enough. We'll see you on Friday. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye. That is Anne-Marie, folks. I'm going to send you over to Paul Meeks and Tech Tune Up next. You don't have to go anywhere. I will redirect you. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused, and we will see you tomorrow.